know there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like Kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
What's happening, people? Welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be on a Monday night. If you're a Spurs fan, if you're not a Spurs fan, welcome as well. We love you all. Just watching Lee in the background doing some shapes to the music. That was good fun. How's everyone
wonder
doing?
If you could see me.
I saw you doing hands in the air, moving to the left, moving to the right. Oh, my Lord. Iggy, how you doing, my man?
You're on mute.
Great start to the show. Absolutely.
Classic.
Come on, man. Look, he's not been with us for a couple of days.
I haven't done a stream in so long. It feels like it's been a while. But yeah, big up, guys. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up also to the Liverpool fans. I see already a name or two Liverpool fans. Big up to them as well. Not all the Liverpool fans, just some of them. I'll save the rest for after. What do you think?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. And like, I don't know where you guys have been, but like, I've been getting soaked the last couple of weeks. The tears are everywhere. It's just unbelievable.
Normally 90 plus minutes, you get there after the 90 plus minute. It looks like we're gonna draw. It looks like we're gonna lose, and we end up winning. Looks like we're gonna draw, we end up winning. Oh Lord, White Hart Lane. Last couple of games, White Hart Lane has been You know, no one leaves early anymore to catch that early train no more.
Do you know what? That's one thing I did notice at the weekend, is that it was absolutely rammed come the 93rd minute, obviously kind of like even like after we scored.
Yeah.
It was rammed. Normally, even if we're winning or if it's close or whatever, 5 minutes before, people tend to all scuttle away to grab that train and stuff. Place was heaving.
It's good to hear. Supporting the team. Lee, how you been?
Absolutely buzzing. Tottenham on Saturday night. Tottenham Saturday night, and then my boys won 8-0 on Sunday morning.
Oof,
couldn't be happier.
Wow.
Couldn't be happier.
8-0.
Absolute banging weekend.
Wins all round in the Lee household. Let's quickly say hello to everyone in the chat. Guys, over 100 of you watching already. Please like, subscribe, all the usual goodness. Got Roy, big up to you, my man.
Your thing.
Big up to everybody that have been subscribing lately. Like the numbers are going up and up and up. So big up if you're newly to the channel. Welcome to the family. It's great to have you on board. And to the OGs, always welcome to see it. Always brilliant to see you guys. Whenever we do a stream or on videos, it's always great to see you guys in the comments.
Big up.
So big up,
Adam,
guys.
Jano71, disabled team, big up. SVRBG, big up. Tony, how you doing? Wolves F1. Chris Gomba, how are you doing? Rob Ayres in the house. We've got Louis K. Jason Williams, how are you doing? Stixie, Dean, Chris, the Bertie Hotspur, Spur 72, Conrad, J.O, J.J, Language Angels, Edward Talks, Just Fly.
Big up,
Ronan the Scouser. How you doing, Ronan? That was a tough one for you, man. I'm not gonna lie. We will get into it. We've got Jonas in the house. How you doing? From New Jersey. We've got Benjamin in the house. We've got Terrence, Darren, Alexandre. Is that EZ the DJ? Or is that just EZ? From Detroit.
DJ EZ.
DJ EZ. If you don't know, there's a famous DJ in the UK called EZ, so that's why we said it. Big up to Paul, Tom81, David Clark. How are you doing?
Hey, Mr. Clark. It's been a while.
Williams in the house. Who else? We've got Sean in the house. We've got Baz. Sophie's in the house. We've got Orish, Calvin, Mr. K, but not the Mr. K that we know. Another one. L.J. Baker, EVSP, Spurred On. How you doing? And we've got Matt W. Big up to all of you. Hope you're doing well. Keep safe. Keep Tottenham. A few more last minute ones just dropped in. Mike Zappa, Eamon, Andy, and
big
Leonardo,
up, Mike.
and Alpesh and Warren. Big up to you guys as well. DJ Marcus Anthony. No matter what you do, we're staying above you. Remember that, DJ. I'm not lying, am I? We're above them. So. I mean, everyone's rinsed the hell out of talking about VAR. It's actually become boring.
Mate, 2 days, and they're still doing it. 2 days.
But it's quite a big one, I guess, because of how blatantly bad it was. But look, let's quickly look at the starting lineups, then we'll talk about the match. So, Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie starting, Basuma, Sarr, Madison, Kudu, Richarlison, and Son. The big difference was that Richarlison started out left instead of Solomon. And then Liverpool with Alisson, Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Diaz, Salah, and Gakpo. That Spurs had more possession, more shots on target, more passes. But to be fair, we had more players on the pitch. We had 2 clear-cut chances only and double the amount of corners. So, look, in terms of the game, we dominated, but it was 11 versus 10 and 11 versus 9,
11 for 24 minutes, so it's not really much. It's not really a fair assumption there.
Yeah.
Look,
let's get the main story.
Oh,
it's not our fault. Let's get the main story out of the way because it's the big one, okay? So, the offside. Now, this is what was shown on Sky Sports. Clearly, Romero's keeping him onside, right? It's blatant. The referees waved offside. Now, was it really offside? Because some idiots were drawing these lines like, look, he's offside. He's offside. But the official line, actually, he is offside, right? So the correct decision was no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
The lino called it though, right? Lino called it. The lino
called it. Yeah.
Now, one of the things
it went to VAR, JP. It went to VAR. Yeah. Look at him. Just look at him. Just look at his face. Who's done that? Big up to Tottenham Hotspur. Big up to Tottenham Hotspur. Do you know how funny this Tottenham Hotspur.com account is? They're hilarious. The memes they come up with. It's just. But yeah, look. Does anyone think that it was onside because it's blatantly offside?
It wasn't the fact. It was onside. Well, no one's arguing that the fact it was onside. I think there was a massive miscommunication where the VAR thought that that the referee had overruled it, given it as a goal. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. And they in the VAR told the referee correct decision. But what in fact had happened, that the goal was being ruled out for offside. So when he heard the correct decision, it was because the VAR thought that he had given it, and obviously play had then resumed, and they couldn't go. They couldn't call it back. They couldn't call it back. Instead of just pausing for a moment, or this like Alan Shearer said as well on Match of the Day, instead of just pausing it and the assistant VAR then saying it. Correcting it there, saying, hang on a minute, something's not right here. Let's pause for a minute because it can happen. I think fans overall, yes, nobody wants to wait a minute and a half before a decision is made. But if it ultimately results to the correct decision, then it's worth waiting an extra minute. But do you know what? I can accept all of that. I can accept all the decisions that happen on the day. What I can't accept, and we will get into this, is 2 days of a media circus. I spoke about it briefly this morning on the video. It's 2 days of an actual media circus. It's victimization, like they are the only team that have ever been penalized over these decisions since it came in. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous how the media have jumped on it. It's like Monday Night Football. I watched the pre-match of Chelsea-Fulham's game tonight. Chelsea 2-0 up, by the way. Tonight's pre-match, first 25 minutes of it was talking about all the decisions of the Liverpool Spurs game. It's an absolute joke.
But that's because
now Liverpool asking for the voice recording and all of that. What is this rubbish? Now they're talking about. I mean, it's not going to happen to get the match replay. Come on, man. Come on.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Iggy? I'm looking forward to maybe I'll get tickets for the Champions League final again.
But you know what, JP? If whatever they're entertaining right now for all of this could be an opening for every team that gets hard dumped. For whatever down the line, they can say, "Well, this is a precedent right here. Whatever sets out precedent, this can carry on." What are you going to do? Every match is going to be a circus now over these decisions.
Yeah, but this was pretty bad, wasn't it? This was pretty bad. Let's be honest. This wasn't even subjective. Even when the home team was saying, "Yeah, that's onside."
Yeah, but it was an error, right? It was an error. It was confusion and an error.
I think that was the worst thing they did was apologising. The worst thing about it was apologising.
I think the problem is, right, look, if you read the statement, okay, from PGMO, they acknowledge a significant human error. So not slight, significant, which is a polite way of saying blatant, occurred during the first half of Spurs Liverpool. The goal by Luis Diaz was disallowed for offside by the on-field team of match officials. This was a clear and obvious error. So they're admitting they got it wrong by flagging it offside. It should have resulted in the goal being awarded through VAR intervention. However, VAR failed to intervene. PGMO will conduct a full review into the circumstances which led to the error. And then they finish off by saying PGMO would immediately be contacting Liverpool at the conclusion of the fixture to acknowledge the error. Now, the problem with this is, right, I think they've done the right thing. They've accepted accountability. But the issue I have with this is how many times are they going to apologise though? Like this isn't the first time.
They're going to have to do it for everything.
I mean, they've done it a bunch of times, right? So
exactly,
they've apologised a bunch of times.
By the way, they didn't apologise. Just to be clear, it's not an apology. That's an admission of error.
Okay,
normally,
fair enough.
Right?
No, I think they wrote to Liverpool and apologised. I think they wrote to Liverpool and apologised personally.
Oh, they've responded as well. Sorry.
Yeah, I've actually got hold of the letter. I actually
they're
contacted my mate. I've contacted my mate at Liverpool, and I can give you some breaking news. I've got the letter. Here it is. To FA, we didn't win. It's not fair. From Liverpool. There you go. It's an official letter to the FA. No. What they've done is what Iggy said earlier. They've formally requested for the official audio conversations. But you know what? You're not going to hand over those audios. You're not good, because that is suicide for the PGMO if they do that. Because what you're then doing is potentially those audios then go to a lawyer, and then it opens up an absolute nightmare situation. And by the way, one Spurs fan put a picture of every time VAR helped Liverpool.
Yeah, I saw that.
These are incidents where Liverpool benefited when they shouldn't have done, and VAR failed to do the right thing. So, you know, it's not a one-way street. It's just because this one was so blatant. It was so obvious, wasn't it? And the mistake was so bad.
What Edward says in his comment, what part of Liverpool's response is, bear with me, I spotted it just a minute ago.
What does escalation mean?
Yeah. What does that even mean?
What does escalation and resolution mean?
Well, it's one of two things. It's either legal action or they want the process to change, because this doesn't happen in Europe. In Europe, they don't have these issues like us. So it's the people running it that's the problem, isn't it?
Take longer to make the decision. I watch a lot of Serie A games. And when there's close calls like that, they take up to 2 or 3 minutes. That the difference is the mindset. The Italians don't mind in a stadium waiting 2 or 3 minutes if it results to making a right decision. Here in England,
everyone
as soon as it goes over 35 seconds, man, we lose our minds on a stadium. We lose our absolute minds.
Yeah, but I thought in Europe they also use the automatic offside technology, like the World Cup.
It's like an AI thing. Like an AI technology for it.
Yeah, that's already. But we refused it. The Premier League refused it. Whose fault was that?
So isn't that what Liverpool mean? Like, we want to escalate this. Why aren't we doing what the other leagues do? Because they seem to get it right. And by the way, I agree with Liverpool. If that's what they mean, I agree with them.
But I don't have. Listen, like I said, I don't have a problem with any of it. I just don't like the fact that after 2 days, this victimization behavior is just poor going when they have had the most decisions when it comes to the use of VAR and non. They have had the most decision more than anyone else. Don't bring that up again, man.
Look at this. Look at this.
I heard someone today saying that actually
that was last season, and Jota got the winning goal that day as well.
But did you see the comments that went with that one? Still, it said Klopp told Ryan Mason to worry about other things. When he was told that Mason was complaining that it wasn't a red, go and complain about other things.
Listen, it always happens
to do the same. Someone should say to them.
Tremendous goal. Do you remember this? Do you remember this one? What about Vertonghen?
Vertonghen,
look at him. This was given offside against us. Vertonghen's in our half. He's in our half. He was given against us. It just happens to everyone. Like, it goes round in circles. You know? But Will, how do you feel about it? Because you did the watch along. You were speaking to other fans when it happened.
Well, I mean, I think both me and Mari said that we got away with one there. Like, I think as soon as they showed the the replay of it, and I was like, that dude's onside. We got away with one there. I don't think any Spurs fan is necessarily talking about the offsides call. This is my take on the whole deal. Is that what I am angry about isn't so much that the Liverpool fans are crying about the offside call. The thing that I'm upset about is that their automatic assumption is that they win the game then. I mean, we just came back a goal down every single time at the Emirates, right? Which has a far better defensive unit so far this season than Liverpool does. So their whole claims that they're going to beat us because that goal got disallowed is absolutely just ridiculous. In fact, if they score that goal, Gakpo probably doesn't score the second goal, and we could have ended up coming and beating them 3-1 for all they know, right? If the Jota red card never happens, we looked better playing against their 10-man side than we did playing against their 9-man side. So the way that this game turns out is just no one can absolutely say. So they can't say that they were robbed of 3 points. They can say that VAR made a huge mistake here and that the referees need to do a better job. Absolutely, say that. But don't say you're robbed of 3 points, because you don't know how that game ends. Nobody does. You can't predict the future, right? Each individual incident in that game changes the game going forward, right? If you're thinking about time splintering off, for every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? You score that goal first, Tottenham plays different. Right? We the players' mindsets are different, right? How they go about the game is different. So you can't say that you were robbed from 3 points. Yeah, you had bad calls made against you, but that doesn't mean you're robbed from 3 points, because the way the game ended is the way the game ended. And like people going on too about the different yellow cards and the fouls. Sorry, it's a red card. There's no argument. There's no debate about it. The laws of the game. People are saying now that Jota's second challenge on the guy, he never touches the player. Newsflash, you don't have to make contact. The rule in Law 12 of IFAB, people just don't read these, they don't know, attempts to trip. You don't even have to touch a player for the referee to give you a reckless yellow card. Fact.
It looked like he did clip him though, Will.
Huh?
It looked like he did clip him though.
Right, but even if he didn't, that's what I'm saying. There are people who are making the accusation that he never even made contact with the player. Sorry, newsflash, you touching the ball doesn't matter. You not making contact with the player doesn't matter. If the referee thinks that the challenge is reckless, he can give you a yellow card. Fact. But it's thing down to his subjective opinion.
Rightly or wrongly,
that first yellow card. I know people are moaning about it, but I'm sure the ref gave it to him for like continuous fouling. Because that wasn't the first foul.
He clipped him with his knee, and then obviously
before that,
because of that. But the bottom line is, JP, when a minute before, there was a foul before that.
Before that happened, there was a few fouls that he'd made.
But the moment that you pick up a yellow card, to go and then pick up a second yellow card 1 minute later, it's that's on him. I'm sorry, that is on him.
100%.
The other thing that's annoying me about the Curtis Jones one, and everybody's saying, well, he didn't mean to do it. He didn't mean to he didn't mean to like do him in or anything like that. The bottom line is this: you see the state, right? Let me tell you something about that, because I've been at the receiving end of one of those before. If his foot is planted on the floor where the studs are in the grass, he snaps his legs. He snaps his leg, guys. Right. The reason why Bissouma got away with that, because where his foot went to the side, it then slides across the grass and it avoids that happening. But I'm telling you now, if your foot is planted with the studs that they use these days, where it's ingrained in the grass, he snaps that leg in half. Now, if you ask me, does Curtis Jones mean to do him in? Does he mean to do that? Absolutely not. We know he doesn't mean to do that. The fact that he rolls over the ball and then connects him.
I don't know. Curtis Jones was chopping away at a few of our players. I was saying this is a disgrace. All these fouls are coming in and the referees do nothing about it. I was moaning about it the whole game.
All I think he's trying to do, he's trying to get his foot in and he's trying to hook. He's trying to hook the ball. I know what he's trying to hook the ball. For me, he is. In my opinion, he is.
No, because people are saying too that he slipped. No, hold on. People saying that he slipped. He doesn't slip. I've watched this back. I've watched it back in slow motion, 0.25 speed from the playbacks. I've screen recorded it. He never slips. There are Liverpools out there saying that Jota or that Jones slips, and that's why he goes over the top of the ball. No, the ball he takes a bad touch. The ball gets away from him, and he lunges. His back foot is planted the whole time. He lunges forward over the top of the ball, slides across and hits him in. It's absolutely an excessive force. He shouldn't. This is the thing that players need to learn. And I know that when you're in the heat of the game, you don't think about it. But when you go diving in because you made a mistake, and you catch a player with your studs up, you're gonna get sent off. That's just the way it happens all the time. This isn't the first time a player's gotten a red for this. Right. The fact that they're moaning from both the Jota sending off and this one is just stupid. People don't know the laws of the game. ifab.com, go read them.
For me, right, when I look at this, I look at the angle of Curtis Jones's foot, and it's a sidewards tackle. The toe is facing like the audience, the camera, me. He's turned his foot. That there.
It does look worse when you freeze frame it. When you freeze frame it, that looks worse.
But that's what it is.
It actually looks worse if you let the video play.
Yeah, if you look at it from the behind angle that they showed, what for me did it for me was the fact that he tried. It's almost like he's trying to use the bottom of his foot to shield the ball or touch the ball, and it's like that. Yeah. He still went stud first at the ball, but his foot went over the ball like that. To me, that was always but he didn't try and hook it around. It was still straight on towards the ball. If he used the side of his foot, he wouldn't have gone in with the studs. He would have gone over the top. He turns his foot like that.
It would have been coming in this way if he was trying to swipe it, but it doesn't. It comes in this way.
He went straight forward over the top of the ball.
It's because he lunged at it. If you actually watch it back, he goes...
He would have been all right. But the fact that he just at the last moment, he turned his foot flat and then it went over the top of the ball. That's why it went in. But as you're right, there's no intent, but it doesn't matter. If you endanger a player, it's a red card.
And then Liverpool fans are also trying to associate this one to like with the one where Jota kicks Skipp in the head, and they say earlier in the game, Skipp, got him with his studs. The difference between this one and the one that Skipp did is Skipp was coming down, right? Not that one. I mean, that's the one he got kicked in the head. That's obviously a red card. But I'm talking about the foul that Skipp made to Jota in that same game. Skipp comes down and rakes his shin pad with the tips of his boot and then steps on his foot. But that happens all the time. He's not coming at him. There's a difference between, hitting somebody like this and scraping somebody like this. Huge difference in when you're talking about seriously or endangering a player. People get raked on the back of their legs and they give yellow cards and all that stuff all the time. There's a difference between coming at a bone straight on, 90-degree angle, and somebody scraping your leg. The impact is different. The effect is different.
Still, put that picture up of Bissouma. If you look at that photo, right, you see his body weight. It's on his. Luckily for him, his body weight is on his left leg. Yeah. He's on his left leg. He's most 100%. Of his weight is on his left. So that leaves the right leg a little bit more lighter, which is why it slides across. I'm telling you, if he's got his body weight on his right and his foot is firmly planted on the floor, he snaps his leg in half. I don't care what anyone tells me, and it's bullshit to hear people go on and say he was unlucky to receive that red. I can't get my head around it, guys. Honestly, I can't. I've been in that situations, and I've been next to a player that snapped his leg through things for careless because the over keenness to try and make up for a mistake or to win that ball back results you making a rash decision and you go in reckless. It happens. I'm not saying. You see, you could tell by the reaction of the players that I don't feel that any of them felt that he went in because he wanted to hurt Bissouma. I don't think anyone believes that. But you cannot, even seeing that, tell me that's not a red card. I don't get it.
For me, that whole game, Liverpool's midfielders could not handle with us. And the only answer they had, every time we broke, every time we attacked, was to foul us and bring us down. And you know what? They played with an aggression, and the aggression got the better of them. Because when you go in with this tackle, for me, you have to win the ball. If you don't win it and you catch the player above the ankle, well, then you know what? You're going to get a red. And that's what happened. He got it wrong. All this slipping, sliding. Like Lee said, you've opened up your whole boot and you've gone in like that. You better win the ball then. You have to win the ball.
Even winning the ball is not important. This is what I'm.
No, it's not. You're endangering this opponent. You're endangering him.
No, but I'm saying if
there's no intent, there's no winning the ball. It doesn't matter. Right, but what I'm saying is, according to the laws of the game, whether you hit the player, where you don't hit the player, whether you get the ball, or you don't get the ball, it doesn't matter. It's all about whether the referee thinks that it was that it used excessive force and whether it was careless, reckless, or using excessive force. That's
the referee gave yellow. It's VAR that called it back.
Right.
That's my point.
But after him looking at it, he saw that it was using excessive force.
Yes. But I think if he won the ball, there's not even a yellow card. Honestly, I think if he
do you know what gets me? People like in the commentary, people like Neville And Carragher, I can understand. He's like, you know, there's a level of bias even when he says it. But when you hear the people like Neville on the commentary saying, you know, oh, you know, it's over the top, blah blah blah, because these guys are from a generation of my generation, of a time where those challenges were deemed acceptable and sometimes not even deemed a yellow card. The laws of the game, like Will points out, the laws of the games have changed now, and people need to get behind the fact that we are more prone to allow free flowing football and cutting this side of the game that you've probably seen Sunday League football now, but at this level, unfortunately, with the laws of the game to protect the players for this, you can't do that no more. And like you said, if you're not getting the ball, you're letting the VAR and the referee having the decision to make. And more often than not, you're going. It's as simple as that. You're getting sent off, and it's not going to be the first time nor the last time it's going to happen.
I'm not going to go over this real long, but I just want people to see so they know that I'm not waffling, right? So it even defines what using excessive force means. So using excessive force, which is what a sending off is, right? So it's trips or attempts to trip, tackles or challenges, charges, jumps at, kicks or attempts to kick, pushes, strikes, or attempts to strike, right? And then what a red card is using excessive force. And they define that as when a player exceeds the necessary use of force or endangers the safety of an opponent and must be sent off. So by the laws of the game, the referee made the correct call. Reckless, which is a yellow card, is when a player acts with disregard to the danger to or consequences for an opponent and must be cautioned. That's just the laws of the game. If people don't like it, then the IFAB needs to change the rules. That's just the referee was doing his job.
Although, just to throw more fuel on the fire for Liverpool fans, then Udogie should have been sent off in that match as well. Did anyone catch that?
Why?
Because after the Jota foul, the referee completely missed it. But if you look at it on the replays, he was doing that on the floor, which is a straight yellow card, and should have been his second yellow card and sent off. No one picked up on it.
Yeah, but that
laws of the game. Laws of the game.
What laws
of the game?
Yeah,
you can't do that anymore. It's a yellow card.
If you wave
that's not an IFAB law.
That's what it says.
It was a new rule that came in this season, Will. If any player goes like that to the ref gives them a yellow card.
And that would have been his second yellow card.
Right, but the referee has to see it.
But he missed it. Yeah, no. VAR can't jump in on yellow card decisions. You're absolutely right.
Well, and the Nketiah foul on Vicario, that was missed as well. But we won't go into that. That was a North London derby. But
it's a fun day.
You can talk about the Sun penalty against Brentford. You can talk about the Maddison not getting a penalty against Sheffield United. You can talk about why is the Romero penalty not given against.
What I'm saying is swings and roundabouts. It happens.
That's why I said right at the start. Do you know what? There's only one thing that's pissed me off. Right, all this I actually don't give a damn. I couldn't care less. Right, because we've had it much worse than anyone else.
Yep. 100%.
For me, there's only one thing that pissed me off. These Arsenal fans, right? I've never known them to be so rattled, so triggered. We are so under their skin. They are literally walking around in misery, these people. They've all jumped on the bandwagon. You were lucky against us that we had injuries, and now you're lucky against Liverpool. And all I'm hearing is you struggle to beat 9 men and you lot think you're good. Hold on a minute, Arsenal fans. We struggled against 9 men, against the second or third best team in the country. 10 men at your ground against a mid-table team. Tell me what happened, Arsenal. Because they equalised with 10 men. And they've got the audacity, right, to say you couldn't beat 9-man Liverpool. 10-man Fulham equalised in your back garden and they're mid-table.
I don't understand how we got lucky against Arsenal. What exactly? What point did we get lucky against them?
It's just a numerical advantage, isn't it? And
they're saying that we're overrated because we couldn't bury a 9-man Liverpool.
No, I'm not talking about this Sunday. I'm talking about 2 weeks ago. How did we get lucky against Arsenal?
Because they had injuries.
But how?
And we didn't have Harry Kane.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
This is the only thing that pisses me off. I couldn't give a damn what Liverpool fans. I couldn't give a damn about Gary Neville and VAR. I couldn't give a damn about any of it, right? We're gonna get. Listen, we're gonna get it as well. It's gonna happen to us at some point. We're gonna get stung.
It will come.
It will start. Let me tell you right here, right now.
That's Sun Pen.
We can't be 9-man Liverpool. A mid-table Fulham. Put them to
Listen to me now. After what happened on Saturday, all the decisions against us will come as of the next game. I guarantee you, to try and level it up from what happened, because this circus that we've been having the last 2 days, and it carries on. This will go on tomorrow as well. I think that the decisions against Spurs are around the corner. Mark my words. I'm calling it now.
The worst thing for me, I would say, is with all of this, is that the Liverpool fans should really focus on. Do you know what? I think their team played really well with 9 men, right until the end. They defended like dogs, and they should concentrate more on that. They should concentrate more on that. That their team put in that kind of effort with 9 men against another team that's at the top of the table with them.
If the game had ended 1-1. They wouldn't be anywhere near the amount.
I know, but what I'm saying is they should take heart from the fact that, do you know what? With 9 men, it took
Liverpool
a
good side.
JP,
Liverpool good side, and even up to that sending off, 24 minutes, I saw signs that this team, man, if we left ourselves open, they could hurt us. I saw signs of that. Obviously, the sending off clearly changed it. It changed the dynamics of the game. Up until that point, man,
I thought we were doing better when they weren't defending deep, low block. When they had more players on the pitch coming out.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame. It's just a shame we didn't get to see more, because I think we only got to see 23, 24 minutes before things changed, and I didn't think I would have loved to have seen it for 50, 60 minutes. And then see what happens.
Going at it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was still fresh. It was still, you could see that there were.
It would have given us also a good level of kind of like where we are, right?
Yeah. I think Liverpool.
I wish the game would have stayed 11 people for me.
I think when Liverpool went down to 10 men, that second half, we were all over them. We were playing really well. They were still a threat on the attack. When they went down to 9 is when all our problems began. When we went down to 9 men, I think Spurs really looked bang average.
Well,
we couldn't open them up.
It's difficult to break down a team like that. That's always been
JP, the problem is we're used to going from the wide areas inside with our inverted fullbacks, and in that game, once it became 8, it needed to go on the outside, and we just not used to playing like that. We're just not used to going on the outside anymore.
They have to use their brain.
The fullbacks come inside now. And the wingers, Richarlison and the Kulus, they weren't hogging the touchline. They weren't. They just weren't doing it.
And I doubt in the 2 months that Postecoglou's been working the team, they've really, with all the things that they've had to relearn and learn, I doubt he's gone to be like, if we play against 9 men, here's what to do, right? Like, I mean, that goes down the road after time.
We're taking our striker off by that point as well. So we was in a bit of a pickle because Son had gone off when that happened. So it was just, I don't know, the decision of, I'm not sure. I think he had a knock. I like to think he had an injury or he had a knock.
I think the fact that him and Maddison didn't train until the day before or something, right?
Yeah.
And then for me, it looked like Maddison re-injured his knee. He was holding both knees for a while. After about 20 minutes, and I was in the wash long.
I saw him in the first half. Yeah. I saw him in the first half. We have
got like Lo Celso and players like that we can give the guy a breather because he's not available. I don't know if Lo Celso,
Johnson.
I can't remember who it was from Liverpool, but like they scissor locked his leg in while he was trying to run away, and it twerked his knee again. So
I don't know if anyone watched the videos I made in the audience about Ange Ball and trying to create the overloads.
No, nobody's got time for that shit.
No one's got time for that
shit. He's upset. He's joking. He's joking. Of course, we got time for your videos.
I know. I was laughing with you. I was laughing with you.
No, I saw you had a serious face. I thought I just got upset.
No, just he got shocked for a second.
No, I put my serious face on to pretend as if I'm with it. No, so for me, when I looked at it, they went to a 5-3 formation and they just compact that area just in front of the goalkeeper. So for me, what we should have done is attacked this space here and created a 4-on-3. But the number 5, let's say that's Van de Ven pushed up, which we did. We did do this. But when this wasn't working, what we should have done is then, as Iggy said, if you go wide and the 11 and the 10 hug the touchline, you then get 2-on-1s. And if you actually look at the goal we scored, this is how it came, but we didn't do enough of it. So really, we should have pushed them back and done a combination of Van de Ven pushing up and going into a 5 versus 3 overload in the midfield, and then using the 2v1s out wide. But what happened was we got so fixated on the blue square rectangle that we weren't using the black rectangles on either flank well enough. Like every time Solomon and Kulu got the ball, they'd go up the flank and then they'd square it back to the 6 and the 4.
Yeah, they weren't creating those wide overloads that they need to do, right? They were simply just.
It was the inverted wingers, Will. There, you need the orthodox wingers. There, with the inverted wingers in this situation, is a disaster. If you then don't have the fullbacks, in the end, if you notice, there was Porro.
They could have kept doing like the Postecoglou tactic. The problem is that because of the goal that they scored, I think because of the Diaz, chances and the chances that Liverpool was getting popped off, Papa Marassar, if you look at some of the replays, wasn't even involved on that right hand side to help create a triangle even, and they weren't drawing Liverpool defenders wide in those triangles to be able to move the ball into the box, and they were just immediately just trying to cram everything down the middle where they had 8 guys just lined up right in the middle of the pitch.
But that was Liverpool's outlet, though, wasn't it? It was that ball over the top to Salah, who would then either take on a man or come inside and
played long ball the whole game. JP, they were sending it long the whole game. Our issue is, all our shots came in this rectangle. The Maddison curler, the Son volley just outside where the 8 is.
Oh, that was a volley, wasn't it, by Son?
The only time we properly went wide and drilled it in, and we actually used the wide area, the 2-on-1, is when we got the goal. Porro forced the error. But I don't understand why we weren't, why Ange didn't instruct them more.
I just don't think they had time in training to work on those types of situations. I think we'll do a better job. In fact, I think this particular game, if you want to see it as a part of development, right? But what I'm saying, right? But that was an actual 11v11 men low block, right? And it was a different type of a situation. The way you play against 8 that are just literally crunched into the middle of the box, and the way that you play against an 11 low block are slightly different, right? So you're not playing against the quality of a Liverpool defense either. So I think, if anything, from development-wise, it was a good experience. We'll learn from it. I think we'll be better, just like we learned in the Arsenal game. I didn't think that we gave as many mistakes away as we did in the Arsenal game when they pressed us and challenged us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, during the game, why wasn't Ange saying, go wide, use the flanks, use the width?
I think he was. That's why they started to change. As the time went on, you had Postecoglou going like this, I
think the problem also, though, is Kulu out there. If he was to do that, he's not really a great crosser of the ball, is he? But that's when you needed Porro overlapping him.
Yeah, but he wasn't overlapping until the end. That was the only time that he did, and the one time that he did, it caused forced an own goal, right? So,
I actually thought Porro had a good game. I don't know what you guys' opinion.
I thought he handled Diaz fairly well, to be honest with you. I mean, there's, these are good players. Like, nobody's going to be perfect in these types of situations. I thought both Adoji and Porro, and I just want to state for the record, one more time, that I never rated Porro off. Even last season, I said he'll come good, and I said he's a good defender.
None of us
said he's better than.
Well, I'll hold my hands up and say defending wise, I was querying him. Going forward, not a problem.
No, I even thought defensively, I didn't think he was that bad.
He's settled. For me, do you know what the turning point for me was? I think it was that game away to Bournemouth. I think he had a really good game defensively that day. And it was just the start of the turning point. But for me, look, he's settled. He joined at a really difficult moment for us. That last 6 months of last season, or a few months left of the season, he joined at a really difficult time for us. There was a lot of turmoil. This time around, he had a good pre-season. He's very much part of Ange Postecoglou's way of thinking.
It takes time to get acclimatized to the pace of the league, especially defensively. Like going forward, I think that you don't struggle. There's not as much of a change or an adjustment that you have to make when you're in an attacking mode, right? But if you're not used to the speed and the physicality at which the Premier League, attackers are going to bring to you, you're going to make some mistakes, right? You're going to get caught out.
Also, the level of the opposition that you have facing. Like look at, for example, Udogie had Saka last week. He's had Salah this week. The level of the opposition that you're up against also will make you or break you as a player. And our fullbacks, I think, are doing overall. Yeah, they've had their difficult moments, but I think overall, I've been really happy with both our fullbacks.
I think it's another good test. 100% it's like another good test. But also, as Will said, I think it's an added test doing that against a 9-man Liverpool team.
Yeah, because they'll have tape now that they can go in and they can look at the tape, and Postecoglou's can say, "Hey, look, in this situation, you should have done X, Y, and Z." Right? Like this, the fact that it happened, I think, for the development of the squad is a good thing. Right? Even if we looked shaky, and even if us as fans thought that we should have done better in that moment, that's all fine. Because I agree, I said the exact same thing. But you can also now use it as an opportunity to improve and get better. Right, and that's all we can expect. Now, if we face a similar situation in the future, or if we go to Luton, for example, this weekend, and we don't see them able to break down that low block that we're going to face this weekend, then you can say, what the hell's going on, guys? But if we see an improvement in the pattern of play and how we pull them wide and spreading the ball and moving it around, then we can say it was a good thing. But
Luton are actually playing okay the last two games. Luton are playing okay,
You got to think, there's two things that happen, and we are playing to the last second of the game, and I think as well from our defensive point of view, when we're talking about the fullbacks, you have to say that having a settled back four with Bissouma in front and Vicario, how much has Vicario grown as well since we thought he looked really dodgy in pre-season?
A lot from pre-season.
You're got to think these guys together as a unit, man. We're becoming. Listen, defensively, I think we're sound. We're really sound. For as long as we got them fit.
Can we talk about the defenses actually? Because I want to talk about the goals, right? Let's do the first goal, which was Liverpool's offside goal. Now, one ball split the team. Diaz, I have to say, it was a phenomenal finish, and across the goalie didn't even get the save.
The run they made across it's just top notch. From left to right.
Beat the defender, beat the goalie. It was a quality goal. But was that not a bit of a concern that ball just split us open like that? Or was it just a phenomenal finish? I mean, how did you see it? Because our whole defence got split by that pass.
But that's
going to happen when you play high line.
Shape, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if anybody can remember, but JP, do you remember when the linesman put his flag up?
It was after.
It was just after.
Just after the goal? Okay. Yeah. So I didn't know if maybe he put it up before the goal went in, and maybe that could influence, Vicario's, coming out of the box. Or...
I think he put it up after he put the ball in the back of the net.
Interestingly enough,
they showed the thing after, but at the stadium, because the camera can pan back. I just didn't know you were at the stadium.
I've got a feeling that he put it up before the ball hit the net. Just before the ball hit the net. Because what I thought was weird was I thought they had to wait.
Yeah, because normally they don't put the flag up until after they score. Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I need to go and watch it back. But I didn't bother with that. But the thing is, I'm behind the goal. So not the goal. I was behind the opposite goal to where Diaz was. So for me, it looked like he was already made his move. which is why I
Lee,
thought it was offside. So.
Lee, what did you make of the defending? Because for me, the first 20, 25 minutes, all I saw were balls being pinged diagonally over the other side of the pitch to Diaz, and they were finding a lot of joy. And then one of the passages of play, Vicario had to make a double save, but that diagonal ball where they were switching the play, but with a forward pass, we were getting split open quite a few times, and our defense looked a bit suspect. If I'm going to be honest with you, what did you make of it?
I think you're right. I think those type of we knew from looking at the way that Ange plays and the way that he plays high, that is going to be a weakness of us. Now, I think the difference is we have got a couple of guys in those fullback positions that are quick. Porro and Yadoji are both quick players. But then when you've got offensive players that are just as quick, or if not a little bit quicker, that's always going to catch you out, no matter how quick or you've got those players back there. So we knew that was going to happen at some point. We knew it was. And obviously it takes someone like Liverpool to show us that. Now, whether that means he's be a bit like cautious in other games, I don't know. But it certainly starting to show some of the frailties that are there. But I think that's more, I don't think that's a frailty of the players. I think it's a frailty of the way the system works. So, you know,
we saw that.
We saw that all
pre-season. We saw that all pre-season, though, right? In terms of pre-season, it was that one ball over the top, either to the left or to the right, which opened us up a hell of a lot.
And it's usually the diagonal one. It's not the straight one that opens us. It's the switching, ball.
It's certainly like that when the fullbacks are inverting into the midfield, because that's when that space gets exposed.
It's there, isn't it? It's empty. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then that's where there was a couple of times, even when that did happen, that Van der Veen just burnt across and picked up the ball. I thought he had an amazing game as well, but which I'm sure we'll get onto.
And I think too, it's the first time that we've done it against this quality of striking force, right? I mean, Diaz is rapid, and if Diaz was a better finisher, then they probably would have scored earlier on than they did. There's like that one. There was a ball across the face of goal from Salah that Diaz put wide or whatever. But while we had some mistakes that were shaky, I think there were some really good times. I think we handled a couple of those balls really well too. And I think it's just going to come down. There were several times when Van der Ven came running down and stopped them, and the wing backs were blocking, making blocks and stuff like that too. So it's just going to take. It's just going to take time until we kind of perfect it, but we're going to be vulnerable for that, and that's why the guys got to perfect their craft, right? So,
well, do you know what? That's one thing.
Van showed his pace quite well, didn't he? In like several times.
No, absolutely, and we knew he was quick. But I think the biggest takeaway for me from that game, irrelevant of all the decisions and everything that's going on, and the Sheffield United game, is the worry is we can't be lucky and nicking these goals in the last couple of minutes every match, right? And I think
there's belief.
We still need to hold on, Jabby. It's the fact that we are still trying to unlock the low block teams, right? And I think what we've shown in the past, especially in some of the seasons where we've had good seasons, the bit where we seem to have like good results against the top six, but we can't. It's the lower league teams that we get some shitty results against, and I think that's going to define our season. Those teams in the bottom half of the table where we're great when we're free flowing and the team's just as attacking as we are, and we're sort of counter attacking and putting the ball through. But when they're just parking the bus, we can't score every time in the last minute, and it's going to come to a point where we can't break these teams down. We need to find a way to do that, because that will define what happens in the season. I don't think it will be defined by what we do against the big clubs. It will be defined, can we kill off the smaller clubs that we should be beating? And that's I think that Sheffield United and this Liverpool game against the 9 men has shown me we've been lucky in 2 games. We just don't know how to do it.
Need to break the deadlock
sooner. Into the last minute. Yeah, exactly. We need to be finishing these games a hell of a lot quicker.
Not
like we should be.
I finishing, but at least scoring a lot sooner. Try not to let your position, if you know that.
And for me, I think that needs to happen in transition.
Still thinking. No,
for me, absolutely. That needs to happen in transition, and we need to utilize, I think, set pieces, the set pieces that are in our own, in our defensive third, right? Breaking from those faster right? Almost, moving into a counterattack almost ourselves. Like when we have the opportunity, when they are spread, because there were several times yesterday against Liverpool where they had 2 or 3 guys up on our half when they were down to 9 men, and we just took our time getting the ball back down to their half, right? We need to exploit those times when we have space, even if we're at a numbers disadvantage, right? Because we know the pace of Son, we know the pace of, Brendan Johnson, we know these types of situations. There were several times where Kulu was driving the ball up the wing and then would stop, right? And wait for the, everybody to get back in their shape, and then they would go again. Like, while we want to play a certain way, that's fine, but we need to do it faster, I think, especially in the transition phase of the game.
I think we started similar to when we started at Arsenal as well, that we were passing the ball around very well, but we were doing it too slow. The build-up was too slow. And I fear against... If because we've got Luton on at the weekend, right, and they've just come off their first win, so they're going to be buzzing. Last couple of seasons, Tottenham, especially for the lower clubs, seems to be easy to deal with because they just pressed us, press. That's the tactic of most of the lower league teams, lower position teams. Was Tottenham are coming, let's just press them. They'll make a mistake. They'll make it, but we're not going to do that this season. We've shown that we don't make these mistakes. We've got competent people that can pass the ball around from defence to midfield, etc. So if they don't park the bus and they come onto us and we pass it around them, that's the kind of teams that we're just going to completely expose and absolutely batter them. But if they just park the bus, that's where we struggle, and that's where we've got to find the magic to unlock that. I just don't think we've got that. And that's the one place I'm actually going to say, I know I've not been his biggest fan, but having Richarlison as an option as putting balls in the box is probably better than having Son. But we've now got no delivery for him. Perisic was the ideal partnership for Richarlison. He's now gone, he's out. And these other guys, modern day wingers just don't like putting balls in the box. Certainly not in the air.
It's the inverted wingers that we play. The way the style of play doesn't encourage the crosses to get into the box because you've got Kulusevski that's always coming on the inside. Solomon on the on the other side does the same. Richarlison, I wouldn't really class him as a winger, although the goal that Son scored came from his wide position, playing the ball outside of the foot to him. So. We just don't have
after 2 or 3 mistakes, he decided to give it up, right?
Even when he does right, we can't slam him as well. He
had opportunities before that to give the ball across the face of goal to Son, and he didn't. Right?
We don't play. We don't play with those type of wingers.
Under 21s have also done it late on today.
Yeah. Listen, it's fine to have a. It's absolutely fine to have it as a characteristic to keep playing to the end. I just think against teams that you're now going to set up a low block, the idea is to not let them settle into the game and try and nick a goal earlier, which completely messes up the game plan. The longer the game goes, the longer they become accustomed to the way they're playing, and the more growth they will have in believing that they can play that way against you, the harder it will be to break them down.
You get an early goal, all of a sudden they've got to come out. They've got to chase the game.
Yeah, completely.
And that's when you just overpower them.
15, 20 minutes against Luton, we got to go at them. Literally go at them. Do not let them settle for the game. So you've got to start strong. And we haven't necessarily done that in a lot of games. We haven't started strong in enough games. But look, mine's not a critic.
That was based on Stale's tactics, right? See, look, I did watch it. Kind of like for the first 10, 15 minutes, they're like looking to understand kind of like how the teams are going to press them.
By the way, we're not criticising Spurs. We're just saying things that we got to improve, whilst recognising that we do a lot. That's good. A lot. That's good compared to last season. So
I'll be honest with you. I'm not impressed by Richarlison or Solomon on the left. I think they puff, they get around, but there's nothing. Like Solomon, for me, creates nothing. The guy absolutely creates nothing, and he gets a lot of the ball. He's the only one I feel confident about when I predicted when we signed him. I got it wrong with Porro, got it half wrong with Vicario, but Solomon, for me, does nothing. He doesn't create. He doesn't score.
Wait till the end of the season.
I told you guys that he was Lucas Moura reborn, right? And
He won a cup.
The 2 assists that he got from Son, and Son really helped him out and did him a favor. Completely patched up. Like I even said in that performance, right? Other than the 2 times that he found Son, and Son put the ball in the back of the net immediately after the fact, that Son made Solomon's performance look way better than it actually was, even in that game.
I'm telling you, and even Richarlison,
what alternatives do we have in the wide areas? What are the alternatives?
We don't have any.
You see, Richie, take away that pass to Son, take away the one he squared across the goal where no one slid onto, which was a really good cross. Take away those moments. What did he do? What did he do in 90 minutes but that? Even when he hit the post, he didn't score. Like what? I don't get it. If just one good pass a game, like the one to Kulu, which was 5 yards when we equalized when we won it against Sheffield United, or the assist for Son, which was a good pass, I'll give it to him. I don't get what he brings to the team. Like,
but we don't have
even a broken clock's right twice a day, right? I mean, if you're just going to be on the pitch and you're running around hard enough, you're going to make things happen. Like I see these types of kids in youth football all the time, right? They have no real technical ability, no tactical knowledge whatsoever, but they're super physical and they work really hard, right? They make things happen just by the sheer effort of being out there and moving fast, right? Rather than them actually thinking about what they're doing. They stumble upon success because of their physicality. And that's the type of player that Richarlison is. I mean, that's just who he is.
SAR 89, you say, no, sorry, listen, beg your pardon. Solomon can do a job. What job? What is the job he does? This is, I don't get it. By the way, I don't hate Solomon, but for a player that gets as much ball time, he gets the ball a lot. I don't know. Other than
what's the purpose of the winger?
He seems to try and take a player on. But where you think, okay, well, now that you've done that, cross the ball, he tends to always cut inside, as we were saying, similar to Lucas, cut inside and seems to want to have a shot or just lay it off, right?
Or lose possession.
I think Udogie and Porro offer more on the wide areas than Solomon and Richarlison.
Maybe
do more. They offer us much more, and they're defenders.
Maybe play with wing backs then. Tuck in Kulusevski and go with wing backs and play with 2 forwards. Or when Bentancur comes in,
Phil, what does he bring different that impacts the game? I can turn up with the away kit and everyone wears the home kit. That's different. Like what?
Yeah, but we haven't got anyone on the wings that look to drop their shoulder and take a man on, have we? Because Richarlison doesn't do it, Kulu doesn't do it.
The problem with Solomon is it's not
on that side didn't do it.
Solomon
so he's the only one there that's
on.
lively and takes people on. Yeah,
he can take a player on. The problem once he's done that is his decision making that lets him down. His finishing is not there, and he does it. Okay, you're thinking you can deal with the fact that maybe he's not a great finisher. Okay, then assist. The whole point of creating those situations is that once you go past the player, you create the numerical advantage. Then what's the point of creating that numerical advantage if we don't then take advantage of that situation?
Michael, tell me what I can't see. All I'm hearing is he can do a job. You can't see it. What job? What can't I see? You're literally just throwing out statements and then you're not backing it up with anything for me to say, oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense. It's just random comments.
That's
right.
People, yeah.
What don't I see? I want to know so I can learn because I don't get it.
Right, he's a good dribbler. We said that he's good. He's good at taking players on, but the problem is once you've done that, then what? Does he assist? Does he score?
You have to cross. The ball. What he's tending to do is beat the man, cut back inside, and lay it off to someone at the edge of the box, or take a shot which didn't really go anywhere.
Here we go again, right? Mana is a good dribbler. What's the point if you don't create or score them? Like it's what Iggy just said. You go past the player, you get the numerical advantage. Now what? You've got to create. You've got to score. But he doesn't. So far, he hasn't. Once in a while, he has a really good shot, and the goalie makes a good save. Once in a while, he does actually have a good shot, but so far, nothing's hit the back of the net. So, listen, I hope he comes good because we need players out wide. You know, we need Perisic is out for the season, so we need Solomon to come good. But
Right, the only thing is anything is Brian Hill, isn't it? That's the only other alternative. Is wait for him to come back, but then you've got to wait a bit longer. But he literally spends half his he literally spends half the time on the floor anyway, as well. Same as Richarlison.
I just think we need to up the quality in those wide areas because if we're going to play with the inverted
and hopefully
wingers,
that will come, right, Iggy? Kind of hopefully that will come as the next transfer window comes.
Yeah, I just think with Kulu. With Kulu doesn't go on the outside enough. We know he's going to go on the inside. A lot of the players show him the inside. He needs to start alternating his game and going on the outside. So he starts using his right foot with a little bit more quality. And Solomon, the best part of his game is actually taking that first man on. He goes past them, no problem. Then you're like, okay, now create the panic. The panic you've created by taking on a man is that you're forcing someone else to come over to come and deal with you. So that means to somewhere else, there's gaps there. Find the man, assist, create the chances for somebody else to score if you're not good enough to finish. So, and listen, I haven't listened. You guys, the guys in the chat are right. They say there's only been 5 games. We've got to give them the time. He
hasn't started playing. I'm having it. First of all, Michael, how can we debate with you by one-liners?
Yeah, but
you're allowed to type more than one line. Type more than one line. That's how you do it. Yeah, and it's like still he's only been at the club. Give him time. He was at Fulham for 14 games. The same thing happened there.
Yeah, but it's a different.
He's not new to football.
I don't care if he played for Fulham. I judge the player when he plays for my team. So
Richarlison was crap at Everton. He's crap here.
He's worse.
What do you think's going to change?
That argument.
I think it's actually.
What do you not think is going to change?
That's what I'm saying. When you play for a lower team and the expectation is lower, and teams are coming and they're open,
you play better.
Yeah, when you come up to a team where people are sitting in low blocks and they're coming at you and they're playing more physical against you, this that, and the other thing, it's more difficult to be good than it is to be good at a lower level.
But players like Richarlison they rely a lot on the spaces that the defense gives us. So the defense that play a high line, he relies on our spaces to get in behind. But when you're playing a home team right now, whoever comes to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is more often than not, unless they're really like an expansive team, which is not many like Man City, Liverpool, they're going to play a slightly low block. So those spaces behind are very far and few. So you need to be clever in the tight spaces. And he's not that player. He just isn't that player.
There'd be no show if I just agreed with all of them.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you know? Yeah,
I agree with that.
That's what she said.
I asked him, what does that mean? Because it means nothing. Muyaho.
Let me ask you a question, okay? What is the purpose of a winger? A wide player.
Create numerical advantage, but the purpose of wingers is to isolate the player, take him on, and create the numerical advantage to create scenarios for your team to score by assisting or creating and scoring themselves.
Let me rephrase it. What is the outcome of a winger's work? What should happen at the end of a winger's work? Where it's a dribble, a run across. What are we trying to do?
A chance for your striker to score a goal, or
right. How many?
For yourself.
Will Statman. How many chances has Solomon created?
He's had at least 2 assists, hasn't he?
Yeah, but key passes would be like a chance created. A big chance is created, only 1, and then he's averaging 2.4 key passes per game. So not a whole lot. It's not low, but it's not high, and it just depends too on the quality of the chance.
In the games, Will 3 games is it? 4
no,
games?
He's played 5 games.
Okay. But that's not all starts, right? That's like
it's not all starts. He's averaging about 42 minutes.
15 minutes here, 20 minutes there.
So when you compare it to our rivals, Saka and Martinelli out wide,
who've been there for years, right?
But Solomon's been playing football longer than them.
14 games at Fulham and 3-4 games like we've
he played in Ukraine as well.
Season.
He played in Ukraine. Solomon isn't a new player.
Mudryk played in Ukraine. How's he doing this season?
Listen, Kulusevski this season has created some and scored 2. At least we're getting some out. I'm not defending Kulusevski, but at least we can see an end product with him once in a while.
Richarlison scored 1 goal and also got 2 assists.
There's more end product with Richarlison than Solomon so far.
And he's had more time on the pitch.
I don't know, man. Solomon needs to up his game for me. I'm just
he
gets the ball so much,
right?
Like the last 20 minutes against Liverpool, the ball kept going to Solomon. I'm thinking, brilliant. You're getting in the right position, Solomon. You're in terms of positional play, I think he gets it. And when he's on the ball, brilliant. You've beaten a man. But then you think, right, what are you going to do for us? And it just kind of stops. It either squares it back, plays it to the edge of the box when their players marked.
The problem still is we don't have anyone else there. We don't have anyone else to put there.
Yeah, no, I'm not questioning his selection. Yeah. I'm trying to understand, what does he give us as a player? Like, I never understood the signing when it happened, and I'm looking at it now. I'm thinking, are you just a number? Because Lucas Moura was a number.
And at least Lucas Moura, every now and again on a blue moon, gave us an absolutely amazing performance, right? So.
Yeah, it was free. That's why he's there.
But I think that's for me. That's why in the January window, that bringing in another wide player for me is a priority. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even be looking at a striker right now. I don't think there's any reason whatsoever to be thinking about moving Son anywhere else. I mean, the guy's got what six goals in 4 games up top. I mean, who else does that? The only person who has more than that right now is Erling Haaland, right, in the entire league, and less than that from the number, the last 4 games. So, look, I don't think that striker is a problem right now. I think that because Son is doing as well as he is, I think if we can find a person who can find Son better, then I think we'll be fine. But the problem is we don't have somebody finding Son enough, because every single time Son's been found, he's scored.
Listen, this is absolute bollocks what you've written. The problem with Cell sometimes reactionary and patient. I did a whole video on We Are Tottenham TV saying, be patient with the way we're playing. The players need time to read what kind of press is being put on them and them trying to create the overloads. Be patient with the process. I did a whole video on it. You're being reactionary. I'm calling out a player because I don't see what he's doing for us. How's that reactionary? Okay, I'm going to Chris Cowlin mode. I thought Solomon was outstanding. I honestly thought that in fact, I think Chicken Royale deserves a start as well. I've heard great things in training. Drop Porro, bring back Chicken Royale as well. Because I was saying the same thing about Chicken Royale. I said the same thing about that guy. He has 1 game against Brentford where every ball over the top he gets caught out. Since then, and he scored in that game. Since then, he's out of the team now. Porro every game.
Yeah, but
I'm telling you, if Perisic was fit, if Brendan Johnson was fit, Solomon doesn't start. He doesn't start. It's that simple. But I can't say it because then I'm impatient. I'm reactionary.
No, but that's a fair shout, because we bought Brendan Johnson because we spent money on him, so he will start in front of him. And Perisic, he's got that quality of putting in a good ball.
He's the best crosser we got, I think. I don't know if is anyone. Porro's not a bad crosser. I think Perisic
Porro can put a crossing, but on the left hand side, Perisic 100%, both feet he can use as well.
Maz, what's your take on Solomon?
My take on Solomon is that he's average, mid-table player. So against the smaller teams, if there are smaller teams in the Premier League, but let's say from 10 below, he'll come on or he'll start and he'll look good because we're just overall dominating the game and we're creating lots of chances. I mean, you give a winger enough time to run at someone and eventually they'll do something. But I just think it's an average squad player that I don't believe he is a top 6 backup player. Whereas one of the things I kept waxing lyrical about Perisic is I thought as a backup, and even you could argue maybe starting sometimes, he's a brilliant squad player to have, or player in the team. So I agree with you. I'm not seeing a jump in quality when Solomon is in the team, if I'm honest. But I don't want to be too judgmental. I mean, it's still early days, even though we've seen quite a bit.
Yeah, but I think that whole take, because there's a lot of people saying that in the comment too, and I think that whole take is a little bit fallacious, because is it too early to tell that James Maddison is a good player? Is it too early to tell that Van der Ven is a good player? Is it too early to tell that Udogie is a good player? I mean, all of these players have had just as much, time at the club, and they've jumped in and are performing just fine. Or is his quality just not there?
Yeah, I mean, you can. I think the problem with that, though, is that you end up judging people immediately, right? So if you take Son last season, if you just did an eye test on him, which is what a majority of fans did last year, you'll think, okay, well, Son's rubbish.
Yeah, but they were wrong. Even last year, they were wrong. It wasn't even Son's worst season in a Spurs shirt. So
yeah, exactly. So me saying maybe give it a little bit more time is more guarding against the fact that he may.
Yeah, but Maz, we knew Son was good for 5 years before that, so we knew there was something.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
He was already proven, wasn't he? That's the worst example you could have gone for. He knows.
I mean, because like Brian Hill, people told me I was too rash. People told me I was too rash on my assessment of Brian Hill before he even put pen to paper. But 4 years later, here we are, and he still can't get in the team, right? So.
No, the reason why I use Son as an example is because that people were really rash with Son, right? Despite his previous record. So as soon as he had a few bad games, they were like, oh, no, he's rubbish. Right? Now, I don't think Solomon's been rubbish. I just don't think he's been as good as everyone else.
Yeah, but even Son's bad games were better than Solomon's good games, right? So.
Yeah, but we're then comparing elite versus someone who's nowhere near elite.
Well, if he's nowhere near elite, then he shouldn't be starting for Tottenham Hotspur, right? He should be at least be close there.
That I agree with you.
Absolutely.
And that's my point, right? That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what Solomon is? Solomon is like when Arsenal spent peanuts on that defender, Pablo Mari, who did nothing for them. Absolute waste of a transfer, but he was cheap. And in the end, when he was called upon, didn't do anything for them. That's what Solomon is for us, I think. Not a rubbish player, but we've just got him because, do you know what? It's cheap. Just make it happen.
Cheap.
It's a bit like an Nkudu or NG. What was it, Nkudu and NG or what?
Oh, he's better than them. He's better than them, sure.
Yeah, but what I mean is
he's a Danjuma signing.
Yeah, he's of that.
Yeah, he's a Danjuma. That's right. Yeah, he's a Danjuma. Yeah. Well, Danjuma scored goals. Will Danjuma actually gave us more?
Well, I mean, he's got 2 assists, right? So I don't think Danjuma had many assists, right? But I think he's at that level, right? Like he's. I don't think he's even as good as Lucas Moura right now. Like I would even put him even on the same level, because at least Lucas Moura is scoring 3 or 4 goals a season, right? Assisting 3 or 4 times a year.
But then we haven't given him a year. That's my point. And okay, I'm just going to push back for the benefit of the show. But Will, on that, if you take that stance, then let's just call out Skipp as being nowhere near good enough. Because
you're not going to get an argument from me on that one. You might want to talk to Stel.
I agree. no, but because on that we've seen enough of Skipp. We've seen enough of Skipp now.
He's not been played in the right position, man. With exactly what we did to Winks, we're now doing it to Skipp. We're doing the same thing again.
Where's he supposed to play? In Madison's position? Please, Stel. You keep saying this. He's not playing the right position. He was playing as a 6. Now he's an 8.
1 minute. What I was going to say is he's not going to get a start ahead of the players we've got at the moment, right? That's what happened to Winks. Winks was never going to play ahead of Ericsson. Never going to happen in a million years.
Dude, he's older than Sarr. If he can't get in front of Sarr, then he's got problems. I'm sorry.
No, because Sarr plays holding mid, right?
No, Sarr plays for Madison, didn't he?
Box to box.
For Madison. Didn't he come on for Madison?
No, he came on for Sarr.
What I was going to say is this. Oliver Skipp is not going to get to play week in, week out in his best role. So for me, we might as well sell him.
What's his best role?
For me, I think he's a player that plays centre mid, but with more of an attacking.
But that's what he's done now with Ange, hasn't he?
We don't play a double pivot. We don't play a double pivot with Ange ball. There's no double pivot.
Whenever Skipp's played higher up, he's offered us more. When he's had to be more defensive, I'm sorry, it's when it goes wrong for me. This is exactly what we did to Winks. The same thing happened. I can see it. Listen, I hope we sell Skipp because the way we're going, he's never going to get the minutes. He's just not going to get the minutes.
Showed something.
And every game, Maz, every game he doesn't get the minutes, he will regress as a player. Because what makes you a better player is playing competitive football. That's what makes you better. You can train all you want. If you don't play in a real match, you don't improve. So he's going to end up going backwards. We might as well get rid of him.
When we introduced Winks, though, in Pochettino's team, he had one or two really good seasons, right? And we thought, oh my God, he's the next.
Yeah, but look where he played, though. Look where he played.
He played game against Real Madrid.
Well, yeah, but a really good player.
I wasn't on YouTube at that time, so I wasn't saying that.
Winks played higher up. As soon as we made him into a defensive mid, he was catastrophic. Absolute rubbish as a holding mid.
But his game time's going to get less. His game time's going to get less once Bentancur comes back.
You see, I don't see his technical ability being anything special. Like at least with Winks, he's got a touch, on him, and he's, he shows a little bit of skill every now and again.
The fuck up with Skipp is that
let's not go.
He went on loan to Norwich. And he had a good season there, right? He came back and then he played under Mourinho. That didn't last long. Then he played under Conte. Then he played under Nuno. Then he played under Stellini. Then they played Mason. There's not one manager just to put an arm around him and develop him. And I said this about our young players. If we keep Ange for 3-4 years minimum, the young players we've got now that he's playing will all become very good players because he will nurture them. Poch did the same with the young players we had, right? The Delis, the Kanes. Skipp has never been nurtured by a manager. He's had 6 different managers in 4 years at his age.
Look, I'm sorry, I just don't buy this. I just don't buy this excuse now because it is an excuse. It's absolutely an excuse because Papi Matasar is younger than him. He's newer to the team than him. If
never played under Jose.
If City can have if City can have top players and have them rotate in and out of the squad and not lose their quality, and there's no reason that Skipp can't rotate with Papi Matasar.
You're proving my point. No, Matasar came after Skipp.
Right. So why is Skipp not getting into the team, even with Papi Matasar here, who's lower on the pecking order than Skipp? Sar's already moved past Skipp.
Because Skipp doesn't play in Papi Matasar.
He does.
No, he doesn't. Matasar's box to box. That's not Skipp. Skipp isn't that player.
He's not a 10. So if he's not box to box, what is he?
Dude, Go watch the season at Norwich where he played, and then you'll see.
He didn't play 10 at Norwich.
He's a set.
He played box to box.
No, I agree with Will. If he's not a 10 and he's not a defensive.
Spurs don't develop box to box players, mate. That's why they bought in Papi Sarr. They don't develop that player. He's a centre mid with an attacking ability, right? He doesn't play in that role. He's not going to get ahead of Bentancur. No chance. And right now, he's not going to get ahead of a Bissouma, right? Forget it. We might as well sell him. He's not going to get the game time. And every game he doesn't play, he will regress.
But the Bentancur slot is the Sarr slot. That's what I'm saying. So if Skipp has any role in this team whatsoever, then he should be getting in at least equal time to Papi Matasar, and he's not.
No, but Bentancur would automatically go in because technically he's far better.
Yeah, but still, we've just gone around and named every single midfielder we got. And according to the logic you're saying, it's different to every single midfielder we got. And they all play like 3 positions, right?
What system does he play in then?
No. Maddison was proven before he came to Spurs. Bissouma was proven before he came to Spurs. Bentancur was proven before he came to Spurs. The only one you can compare it to is Papi Sarr, but Papi Sarr didn't go through this 5 different manager roller coaster ride. So,
but Papi Sarr is Bentancur's same position.
He had 3 managers. Papi Matasar had 3 managers last season and hardly played. What are you talking about?
Do you think Oliver Skipp has been given the right type of development the way we brought him into the first team since he joined us into the first team? Do you think he's been nurtured? I don't think
any of our players have ever had that still.
No, I'm asking about Skipp.
I think he's had the exact same development as Papi Matasar. He came into the team from Norwich at the exact same time.
What are the young players what are the young players come through the academy into that team?
I'm not talking about academy. I'm talking about
that's where you go.
So then it's the academy's fault.
No, it's not. It's the bridge that you cross from youth to adult football.
Okay, so what academy did Sarr come from?
I don't know, France somewhere, I think.
Okay, so then how come he didn't have a problem when he came into and started playing in the regular first team for Spurs at the exact same time as Oliver Skipp did?
Because
Sarr played week in, week out for his French team, week in, week out for his international team. Sarr has had...
Not last year. He played for his full season last year.
I think last season, though, we lost...
He's been here
with
longer.
Sarr, though, I remember the Newcastle game and the Southampton game where he was literally used as a scapegoat by our own by the managers there. You know, he was hauled off against Southampton. I think after the Southampton, we never saw him again because he gave away that penalty. But it was a Newcastle game. I think he was hauled off where we was terrible that day. I think we was on the brink of losing him.
I think we
was on the brink of losing him.
That season we
Skipp played more than Sarr last season under Conte.
Skipp and Højbjerg literally played every single game, didn't they?
Yeah, listen, Skipp for me, like he was a big part of Conte's team. I think that injury that he picked up a really bad injury, and then from that he lost a little bit of momentum. And obviously since then, Bissouma's come back into the fold because he was rubbish until this season, and I just think he's going to get less and less time because we've got some big players.
The thing is, still,
I said earlier, coming back, it's going to get him less.
In the formation we play now, be it with Maddison, whoever that we've currently got out there, Bissouma, Sarr, etc. Where's Skipp's? Which one of their places would Skipp take?
Who plays in the 7?
What is this? You mean on the wing?
No, number 7 in the midfield.
Yeah, 7 is wing, right? You have 6, 8, 10 is midfield. Okay, 7 and 11 are wingers.
He's more of an 8. He's more of an 8.
Yeah, which is Sarr's spot.
Yeah, but he doesn't play the way Sarr plays. Sarr's box.
Okay, well then he's not. Then he can't fit in the system. And he needs to go.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Doesn't fit the system then.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying that he hasn't shown me. Look, it's happened now in 3 games, I believe, right? Where Højbjerg and Skipp have come on and the levels just dropped dramatically. Right now, it could just be the creativity element, but I don't think it's just that. I think it's just their all-round play. They don't move the ball as quick as the other players. They don't pass the ball as well. They can't beat a man as well. They don't.
Let me explain this again. Right. When a kid comes out of an academy, the most important thing they need is minutes, right? And if you're not going to play them, loan them out. The problem I've seen with Skipp is when he's getting the minutes, there's no consistency in his development because we keep changing the freaking managers. Like if I was a young player, I wouldn't touch Spurs post-Poch. I wouldn't touch us. And look at the amount of youngsters that have come through since Poch. Fuck all. Even under Poch, not many broke through. You need a manager that's going to be there for a significant period of time to bring through those youngsters and nurture them. It's no coincidence there's young players at Arsenal that are doing well on the first team and they've kept the manager there for 4 years. That's not a coincidence. Arteta isn't some kind of amazing manager that develops amazing young players. Bollocks he is. They've kept him in there. He's had time to nurture them his way, the Arsenal way that he's developed. We haven't had that at Spurs. The bridge from youth to first team at Spurs has been diabolical. And I've said this many, many years. Every year I say this. I hope Ange stays because if he does, you will see youngsters begin to progress at this club. He's had a whole 2 years playing Italian football. He starts every game. Skipp hasn't had that.
All right, but even if Ange's here for the next 10 years, I can't see Skipp progressing.
Okay, he played 23 games last season. 18 of them were starts.
I agree with you, right? But then what I would say against that still is that Skipp featured under Jose, right? Yeah. He started coming in. Then he featured more heavily under Conte, right? And now he's featuring every now and again as a sub under Ange.
Yeah.
Right now, you've done a lot of videos, haven't you, whereby you're saying that at Tottenham, they concentrate on the young players to win their duels at a minimum, right? So whether it's attack or
1v1 battle,
all that sort of stuff, right? Now, if he's a product of that academy, then and he's been under let's say 3 world-class managers, right? Let's count Ange as a world-class manager. He seems to be proving that fact, right, currently. And he's not getting into the team ahead of his peers of the same age, then I'm with Will. He's had the opportunities. Now, yes, you can argue consistency is a key element to any young player's development. I agree with you. But then there's been young players at Chelsea where they change manager every year and they still do well.
Do you know why Pape Sarr gets picked at Spurs? They told us. I mean, I was there last Tuesday. The reason
because of his stamina and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the number one reason they pick him, because he's a
Skipp needs to work on his fitness then.
No, because if you look in the final third, Pape Sarr offers us nothing. He doesn't create, and his shooting is one of the worst I've seen. It's like Sissoko. Skipp is not that. Skipp has got a better shot and a better creativity in his locker. But he's not going to get picked.
Then Skipp needs to work on his fitness so that he can play instead of Sarr. If he's a better player, he needs to work on his stamina. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, from what I've heard, Pape Sarr is an athlete and a half compared to most of the players in that squad.
Look, physical conditioning can be gained simply through hard work. Skipp needs to work harder.
If he want to get in a team, if he has to get in a team, he has to find some way or something that he can do that either they can't.
Yeah, get in the gym, run 5 miles, do HIIT training, whatever it takes.
The thing is as well.
No point in him just carrying on there and just on the bench.
I think
and hoping for another to come along.
But I think the way Pape Sarr breaks up the play, intercepts, and defends, I think he's better than Skipp, and I think that's another factor why he's in there. Like, his defensive attributes are far better than Skipp. That's not Skipp's strengths. This is what we did with Winks. We tried to make Winks more defensive, but he's not defensive. He's awful at it. Skipp is shaky at defending. Do you remember that goal he gave last season where he passed it to the striker?
Yeah, but if you look at so if we're comparing Skipp to Sarr defends better than him. He's faster than him. He's better on the ball than him. He's better carrying the ball.
He's not better on the ball. Not in my opinion.
Well, I haven't seen Skipp being excellent carrying the balls like Sarr has.
Like I said, he hasn't because we're not developing him right, Maz. This is my point. His development has been shit. We've done it again.
Then he's shit. If his development's been shit, he's shit. That's the
point.
He's
just a better fit. No, it's not he's shit. He's not on the eyes. What fans are seeing is a very, very average player. Do you know what? Do you guys rate Mourinho? Do you think Mourinho is a good manager? Do you? Okay.
Yeah, he said he could be a future England captain or something.
Right. There's a reason he said that, because he saw the talent. He saw him. He saw the mentality. But we've absolutely wrecked him the last 2 years, and I can see it. I'm seeing Harry Winks part 2, and in the end, the fans will want him out. They'll do it again. Winks was a top attacker.
You saw the talent in Eric Dyer.
What does it take to unwreck him, though? Still, in your opinion, what's it going to take to unlock him?
Minutes. He needs to start games, but he's not going to get it at Spurs. JP.
In front of who? Exactly. We're not going to drop any of the current midfield free, because the thing is, the more you win, the less you change it. Don't touch it. 1 game a week, don't touch it. It's working. Skipp ain't going to get the minutes. The only reason he got minutes on the weekend is because Andrew wanted fresh legs on the pitch to just rally the last 15 minutes and wear Liverpool down. That's why he brought them on.
Listen, in my opinion, I think...
This is just my opinion, right? Most people are going to disagree with me on this, by the way. Most people will disagree with me on this, but I don't know, man. Skipp was a very, very good player in the academy. He was brilliant at Norwich, won Man of the Month every single month there practically. He had a good start at Spurs. The last 2.5 years have been an absolute shit show for him.
Yeah, but he was good in the academy in a bad academy.
The academy wasn't bad, Will. I think the first team was...
I thought the whole thing about the academy's good now because it's changed over. We've brought in new players. We're doing all this thing. We got rid of a whole mess of players under Paratici, right?
Okay.
Like, that's the whole argument, that the academy's been revamped. So if he came out of a crap academy...
the academy...
Do you guys not feel that certain players are a better fit for certain managers than others?
Well,
is it not possible?
Yeah, average players,
Not managers, systems.
But do you not feel that Sarr is a better fit in this trio with the way Ange Postecoglou wants to play? Then perhaps Mourinho and Conte feel that Skipp's a better fit for the way that they want to play, or he fits in the three in the
I agree.
better. I just think Ange has decided that Bissouma, Maddison, and Sarr are a better cocktail of the three players that he requires for the way that he wants to play. And Skipp currently, we've got one game a week.
Yeah, but a good manager as well.
It's as simple as that.
A good manager as well can develop his players. A good manager should be able to develop their players. Everyone kept saying Conte doesn't develop players.
Who would you drop right now to make way for him? Who would you drop right now?
Yeah, but where's he going to develop? You can only develop. You can only develop them in a training ground, right?
Well, no, you give them minutes, but this is where it's going wrong.
No.
They're not getting the minutes.
He's getting the minutes. He's coming on. He's coming
on. Minutes. What minutes is Skipp getting?
The problem is he's coming on. The problem is he's coming on with the likes of Højbjerg in midfield. He's coming on with the different set. He's not going on and he's got Bissouma and Maddison. He's going on and playing with Maddison's gone off. Son's gone off. I'm coming on and I've got Højbjerg next to me. I've got Richarlison there. I've got Solomon over. He's not playing with the same team that Sarr's playing with. You have to say that as well.
The only reason Skipp is at Spurs right now is because they know one injury and we're short. And by doing that, you are effectively right. And when you become a number, you are not developing. And this has been my point from day one. We are not developing Skipp.
Then develop him somewhere else. He's not going to play here because, like I said,
Bentancur
is coming.
What did I say 10 minutes ago?
From injury, because he's not and his minutes, one game a week, his minutes are not going to. They're not going to go up. They're going to get less than what he's.
Why has every manager kept? Why has every manager kept Skipp at this club?
The two defensive ones, maybe because he's a defensive-minded player. But if he can't get into the attacking side.
He's not defensive. He's never developed as a defensive mid.
Well, the only two managers that rated him were defensive, so...
Yeah, but that's the choice of the chairman bringing in a negative manager.
But that's where they played him, though.
But those are the managers that rated him. That's my point. It doesn't matter who brought in those managers. That's irrelevant. The two managers that rated him were defensive. They played defensive systems.
Okay, so therefore, Heung-min Son, he doesn't get a pass for last season because he got played every game and asked to do defensive duties. Because when I heard the excuses that Son's been asked to defend,
he didn't play poorly.
That can't be an excuse. That can't be an excuse to him because
Son didn't play poorly. Son was the fourth best player in the team last season.
By
second highest scorer in the team last season.
By your stats, not by what everyone was saying. The whole
I don't care what people say. People say dumb crap all the time. People say the earth is flat. Doesn't mean it's true.
So I don't care if you don't want to shut Skipp then.
Great. Congratulations.
Yay!
Not going to get an argument with me on that one. You're free to do whatever you want. Right?
Murray!
Everyone think that the Queen was fit.
Apart from Kane.
Not one young player developed. From the day we sacked Poch for 4 years, not one young player developed. And there's a reason for that. Because it was a roller coaster of managers, systems, toxicity. Ask Lee, right? Lee, you coach kids. What do they teach you? The environment you set is crucial to the development of the youngsters. The environment at Spurs for the last 4 years has been absolutely woeful. And then we wonder why young players don't do
That's
well.
for every young player. Not just for Skipp.
Yes.
All young
Sarr too.
But we're not going to...
And no young player did well for 4 years. Not one. None.
Skipp hasn't been in the academy for 3 years, by the way, so we can't be blaming this on the academy over the last 3 years.
I'm saying young players in the first team for 4 years, the environment has been crap for them.
Yeah, Sarr's in the same environment. That's all I'm saying.
The reason Vicario, Udogie, and all other young players in the team are doing well, it's not just because they're good players, right? It's because the environment Andrew's created is on point. This is the environment you want to be a youngster in now. If I was a young player, and I'm looking at Spurs, that's where I want to play. If I can get a first team gig, I want to be at Spurs because this is the environment. But
you're not going to have them. I don't think you get the minutes.
I was driving on the road here, and I will say this because the last couple of matches, I mean, even Levy said it. You know, we've gotten win now trophy managers, right? And win now trophy managers are less inclined to play the youth unless they're really really ready or really good to come play. So now is the time to. I mean, this is the perfect time for Veliz, even Ryan Hill. I mean, now this is the time to see what he has, because Big Ange has this environment where a young player, he will play the youth, and there's no pressure to play the youth. Yeah, we're second. We're second on the table, but this is still almost a free pass of a year to develop the system and to play the youth. So, I mean, this is the perfect time. But
Mari, the technical level of this team this season has gone up. The levels required has gone up. Is it not possible that Skipp will listen? Skipp can become a better player, but you're right. He has to play. He's not going to get that time at Spurs. So for me, he should move him on, and we bring other players that require that's more fitted for the requirements needed for this team. Our level has gone up. We are more technically based side, and we require certain players with certain characteristics to fit the system right now, and especially in the midfield area. Skipp at the moment is part of the squad. His minutes are going to get less with the arrival of Bentancur. Then you probably find that Sarr is going to get less minutes to allow to make way for Bentancur. So for me right now, we got to focus on that and not so much on Skipp. And Skipp can't cut it in this team. He needs to move on. But and then if Ange Postecoglou does stay here for the next 3-4 years, then you're right. Bring the next crop of kids.
I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, he's right. I think that's exactly what's happened. I think the levels have been rubbish for the last 3 years, but now the levels have gone up. Everyone's moved on, and Skipp stayed where he is. That's what it seems like to me. I'm not saying he's a bad player, and you're right.
And you can put it down to many. You can put it down to many things as to why Skipp stayed where he is, and they could possibly be justified that as to why that's happened. But the bottom line is here today, right now, we need to move on. If he's not up to that level, he needs to move on. Allow players in.
Here's I think is a good question and quite a serious one. Is at what point do you put the responsibility on the player to improve and not necessarily the academy or the manager of the system? There's got to be a large element of personal.
Tanganga, Skipp.
Exactly.
We've had a lot of these players that.
Yeah. Personal academy to get better.
Something hasn't worked.
You can't improve unless you get minutes. That's the point.
Then they need to leave. Go on loan. Tanganga's done it.
You got to hit the ground running. That's it.
But Maz's question is, at what point do you put the emphasis on the player to be the one responsible now? And my answer to that is, well, give Skipp 10 games in a row, 90 minutes, and then it's on him. But he doesn't get that.
It's not going to happen.
Right, and therefore,
he's got that under Conte. But he's still got that under Conte.
What you're saying,
there's no consistency in the development. Skipp broke in at a young age at the worst time we've seen Spurs in 10 years. It was the worst time.
And Harry Kane broke in for Sherwood.
At the best time. At the best time.
Sherwood.
No,
Timothy.
Poch.
Yeah, but you know, he got introduced to Sherwood and Poch came.
Yeah, but they kept loading him out. He went to Millwall, went to Leicester.
Yeah, forget about that. I'm talking about when he came into the team, right? Sherwood initially introduced him, right? Then Poch came in, didn't he? Right? Yeah. Right. But under Poch for the first 6 months, we were rubbish, right? But he still progressed and proved his point and improved and proved it.
Because he got the minutes.
Coming.
Because he got the minutes.
Skipp's got minutes under Conte, loads of time.
Played 28 games. Started 18. Look, I'm gonna quote the greatest rapper of all time. You better lose yourself in the music the moment. You got one shot. You better never let it go. You only got one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow. Right? If you don't hit the ground running as a youth guy, when you come on and make an impact, sorry, it's done. Go on to a lower club, a smaller league. That's just it.
Not really, because Willock was rubbish at Arsenal. Willock they never gave him minutes. He goes to Newcastle, he's a starter because he's
got vomit on his sweater already, Mom Spaghetti.
When you're a young player, you need minutes. I've been doing it for 10 years. I've got players into pro clubs, and I know kids in pro clubs that have gone pro football. Minutes is everything.
Then go to a team. Go to a team that will provide you that. But I agree with you when you say the system for the young players at Spurs is flawed. I agree with it. So what's the conversation?
Spurs, the last 4 years, everything about Spurs,
it's
Spurs,
flawed. I agree with that. I agree.
Everything.
But if you're telling me right now to dismantle this free to allow Skipp to get more game time for his growth, you're buzzing, man.
I'm not saying that.
I never said that. If that's what you're saying, I said
what you are saying, though, Stel, is what you are saying is that Skipp needs more time, but not as a defensive person, more as a forward midfielder, right?
Centre mid stroke
yeah.
Which he's not going to get it first because the players
he's not going to get ahead of Madison. He's not going to get play against
technically the players who've got not there. So
he's not going to get that because we've spent over 60 million on players that are better than him. So rather than developing a young player to be that, we've said, you know what? Actually, fuck it. Let's spend money on the finished product, the Basuma Madison types, and mug off the academy kid. What's the point of the academy then? This is my point.
But
to make money.
That's a completely different argument. Sorry.
At that point, the academy didn't feed players into the first team, did it? That wasn't even the route to get into the first team, and that was never ever the plan to get them into the first team.
Exactly.
You've already said that before. Now it is going forward. So
let me give an example, right?
If Skipp was
you're right. Skipp falls off that last generation. He needs to go.
That's done.
The new generation,
last generation. He's in the middle. He's caught in the middle of it. He's not the old.
Yeah, but he's not going to. He could be now. He's not going to play.
Ben Davies generation. He's not that shit lot.
No. I mean that he's not
from the academy.
We need to go. He's here, right? And we gotta now nurture these guys to get to this point. He's here now. He's gone in the sense of he's not going to get the time at Spurs. Right now, he's not.
Well, you need to get rid of Dane Scarlett. You need to get rid of Troy Parrott. You need to get rid of Donnelly. All these players because they've been developed the same way.
Yeah, get rid of Troy Parrott. Of course, he's got no place in this team.
Donnelly, Dorrington. They've all been trained the same way.
But
Dorrington.
They're still in the academy.
No, they developed the exact same way as Skipp. They're now some of them. How old are they now? Some of them 18, 19.
I never heard you argue
they're
this
5 years younger than Skipp. Skipp's like 23, man.
Wait, hold on. I will argue the same for Tanganga. Tanganga hasn't had the minutes either, Maz. He hasn't.
Skipp's 23 years old still. He's not 18. I don't understand. There's a 5-year difference between them.
Tanganga had his moment. Tanganga had his moment and didn't capitalize.
What are you
precisely, Mari? Bingo.
Are you?
No.
I'm trying to understand the argument here.
I'll tell you the argument here. I'll tell you the argument.
I'm trying to understand. Are we going to make?
I'll tell you the argument. Will thinks that our academy develops crap players, that we don't develop good players. Whereas I've always argued with Will over this. And I said no.
They do.
No, right. There you go.
I didn't do that, by the way. That's Lee over there.
Right. I've argued the opposite. I've always said the academy does develop good players, but the bridge from academy to first team has been dog shit.
That was me, though.
So, my question to you.
I agree. I agree that the system has been flawed for years. But right at this moment, because we've been talking about Skipp for that 45 minutes now, I'm trying to understand what is it that you want from him. I'm saying that for all the love I have for him, because I do think he gives the best.
What was the original question?
I don't understand what argument we're presenting for Skipp. The system has been flawed. The system and the academy has been flawed for about 5 years, probably longer. We know that. It's been flawed. We can agree with all that.
He's not crap. He's just
it's our fault. We gave him a crack pipe in kindergarten. It doesn't matter. He sucks. Like he can't play now. He's got to go.
My thing about Skipp is how good enough is he? Like, do you believe that?
I don't know because he doesn't get the minutes, Mari.
Do you think
Still, he had 23 games last season, started 18, had over 1,000 minutes. How many minutes under Conte?
Right, who was good last year?
There were four still.
He had a chance.
The whole team was rubbish last year. But hey, let's call out Skipp. No, it doesn't work like that.
They were rubbish.
He was below low. He was at the bottom of the barrel under Conte.
Other than Harry Kane, a lot of players, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. That argument doesn't work. For the last 4 years, not one player other than Son and Kane come out of it with any kind of thumbs up.
Did Skipp regress from 21-22 to 22-23? Yes, but not that much.
Why can't Skipp get in?
That's fine. I'm not accusing them of that. I'm saying even this season, though, he's even playing worse than he did last season under Conte.
Because we bought players in that are better, Iggy. We've spent money on players that are better. Maddison and Basuma are far better.
And that's it. That means the level's gone up. I never said those words. The level has gone up, and he's now the level that was required last season. He met it. This season, he doesn't meet it anymore. It happens in every line of work.
I've got a soft spot for youth football, man. I've got a bias. I've worked in it long enough to know what it takes for players to progress.
Your logic doesn't add up, man.
It does. We've let Skipp down. We did the same to Winks. No, I defended Winks. We let him down as well.
We brought in Solomon, right? And you're giving Solomon a hard time, trying to stick me in it as well. Drag me down.
He's been playing for 5 years. Right? And he's had 5 years of experience playing pro football week in, week out, Maz.
Yeah,
he's a different kind of fish.
Oh yeah, Skipp's 23.
He said 3 years.
Skipp didn't break into the first team until he was 21.
Dude, he's been playing. He's been playing consistently since the 21-22 season in the Premier League.
21-22, 2 years. Yeah,
3.
Dude, he went on loan to Norwich, and then he came to us when Conte was here, wasn't it? Mourinho.
No, Jose.
Yeah. And then he was in and out of the squad, in and out of different managers, in and out of different systems.
Because he can't hack it, obviously.
No one could hack it in those times, though. So it's clearly not the player.
All right.
Everyone blames Conte. Everyone blames Mourinho. Everyone blames Nuno. But yet, now we want to blame Skipp for his development.
I've said the academy system has been flawed for ages. I've said that. I said it's been flawed for ages. It hasn't helped any of these academy players to come through to the first team by playing regularity.
I think Vicario, Udogie, Van de Ven, players like this, young players like this, they have joined us at the best possible time because the environment is bang on.
But they look a million times better than Skipp does.
There's a good point, look.
Right? If you compare Skipp's best games for Spurs versus their best games for Spurs, there's levels there.
No, because they get to start every single week.
Because they continue to play well every single week.
Yes.
Do you think they're getting better? Do you think those players I mentioned are getting better or worse?
Who? Udogie?
Udogie, Vicario, Van de Ven. Do you think they're getting better or worse?
Yep, they're getting better.
Why?
I believe
so.
Because they're continually getting better. Look, I'm telling you right now, Still, hold on. The only problem...
Arsenal away, they experienced 9-man Liverpool, they experienced Man United.
Would you like me to tell me how many starts in a row Skipp had last season?
Under which manager? We're going.
It doesn't matter. You're talking about time and consistency playing.
No, it's about environment. It's about the environment you learn in. He was in the wrong environment.
Okay, he's playing. He's training under the same manager now. Postecoglou is picking Sarr for a reason.
Because he's got a better engine.
Whatever that reason is Skipp's fault.
No, because Papa Sarr and Skipp aren't the same player. They're not the same player. You can't compare them.
They play in the same position.
They offer different attributes.
Why is he not playing ahead of Maddison? Why is he not playing ahead of Basuma?
Because Maddison's far better. Madison's
what the fuck are we talking about, man? That's what we're talking about.
I said 20 minutes ago we spent money to buy better players. I said that.
What are you talking about? Skipp for, man. He ain't going to get in this midfield, man. He's not going to get in this midfield. He's in the right manager.
I've agreed with you.
Postecoglou is probably the right guy. But the bottom line is he needs to go and play somewhere else. If he wants to develop,
it doesn't matter who messed Skipp up. He's messed up. Right? It doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's not our fault for Skipp being messed up. I'm saying he's messed up.
You are fucking, you blood.
But what's happening now? What's happening now at Spurs is Oliver Skipp comes on. Everyone says he's shit.
My life.
And yet the guy, what do you want him to be?
He's not.
He doesn't get no minutes. What do you want him to do?
Mate, there's 3 different midfield positions, and you're saying he doesn't suit any of them.
No, I never said he doesn't suit them.
Hopefully our levels are getting better.
I said there are better players there than him.
So we're gonna bring in a magical manager who plays a system that somehow Skipp fits in there and he's not a good enough player, dude. I'm sorry, I don't care. I just don't care.
I would use him as the first alternative.
You shit on Vicario. You shit on Van de Ven. Shitting on Solomon.
I would use him as the first alternative.
He turned out well, Maz.
Listen, it's quite obvious that Stell's got a Skippy 2022 calendar. He's trying to get as much time out of it as possible. But let's move on.
Listen, got buy one get one free Christmas special coming up. So just wait.
It's just above Cliff Richard calendars in the old calendar market anyway.
Cliff Richard old school. The chat. There was to move on.
I got to say something. I'm glad Valise got a couple of minutes on against Liverpool. He didn't do much, but at least he got on the pitch and got to experience playing for the first team, which is good.
Can I tell you something as well? Right, when I was up,
not as many minutes as
Skipp.
When I was up at Spurs last Tuesday, right? I was speaking to a couple of the guys there. Do you know how livid, angry they are with Tottenham, the hierarchy, for spending money on Richarlison and not giving the younger players at Spurs a chance instead? They're fuming with that. Just so you know the issues we've had.
I said that at the start.
Who do we have at that age?
You go and buy a young kid. Yeah, but you go and buy a young kid and you loan that.
No, but hold on. Who do we have?
No, JP. This year's different because Ange is in. But we bought Richarlison last year when you've got young players that aren't getting
who's not? What young player isn't getting a shot? 17, 18-year-old. It's not his time yet. He'll get the chance. Dane Scarlett.
Richarlison going to bring in
Troy Parrott. Look, what if I transport over to the Irish Hotspur show all of a sudden? Troy Parrott can't play football. Shouldn't be playing for our club. He should have been sold years ago.
Dude, Dane Scarlett is free.
Dane Scarlett.
Richarlison,
but Dane Scarlett's 18. He's not in that mode yet.
Against LS. What's the point of getting that?
Dane Scarlett will have 2 or 3 years because Richarlison ain't going to be here in a year.
Anyway, I didn't expect you to back the academy player.
I'm not worried about
Dane Scarlett. I'm not worried about Dane Scarlett. Who do you think is going to come in and play right now? Why is the academy upset? Dane Scarlett ain't going to start for the Premier League at 18. Harry Kane didn't even do that.
Richarlison next summer will be gone. We'll put him up for sale.
I don't think they're going to go. They're not going to lose the money.
Well, I think he'll be. I don't think Ange's going to stick with him. I think he'll ask for someone else.
My point would be, rather than going out and buying LS, we could have kept Dane Scarlett and given him those first team minutes.
I agree. That's our.
That's my point. Compete. Now we got competition. If Dane Scarlett is as good a player as he thinks he is, then he should be able to beat Velez out for the spot.
Not competition. Competition on the bench.
We've loaned him out though.
Yeah, that's why he's playing more minutes than Velez, isn't he? So he should be better off than Velez.
I think we'll see Velez against Luton on Saturday. Not starting, but I think we'll see him again.
Yeah.
Guaranteed Scarlett gets more minutes this year in regular football than Velez does.
Richarlison's gone because at the first opportunity he had to play him up. He played him on the left and not up front.
But he can't play him up front.
No.
You
play football, goals, man. I got to go to training, so you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
See you later, man.
Yeah, Will. Take it easy, man.
A left winger plays up front ahead of the striker who plays on the wing. That tells you everything you need to know. He doesn't rate him as a striker.
Boys and girls, we've got a couple of super chats and a couple more topics to get through because I don't know how that happened. That whole conversation.
That's your Skippy love.
It's because you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear the truth. What do you want me to do?
No, you just like a dog with a bone. Keep going about the fucking Skipp and
read out the super argument, man. Read out the super chat.
It's not about Skipp. It's about young players being developed correctly. Skipp was one example. Anyway, Della Spurs, big up for the super chat. I compared Skipp to Garnacho or Hannibal at Man United. Those two have stepped up and took the opportunity on a big team. Can Skipp do the same? Well, we don't know because it doesn't.
Well, let's go to Man United and find out.
No.
Matt Coppin, super chat. Big up Tottenham away. Much love. Big up to Matt. He'll be with us on Friday. Did you not see the post-match antics of Romero? So McAllister on Instagram said, it's normal when you play with 12. And Cootie replied saying, cry at home.
Cry at home.
McAllister's in a lot of trouble for this as well, isn't he?
That's what I love.
He's being called up by the FA.
Yeah. Apparently, that's another thing why the Liverpool fans are kind of up in arms a bit, because they feel that their players are being zipped.
Well, don't do it then. You can't say anything bad against referees at the moment.
I'm so tired of this crime. I mean, gosh, stop it. It happens. It happens in sport. Come on, stop crying.
Without officials, you don't have a match.
There is one. There's the subject I just want to briefly touch on. I was in two minds whether we should discuss it, but I think it's important we do discuss it because it's real life, right? So obviously, a lot of Liverpool fans are upset. A lot of people are just hating on Tottenham, even though we don't control VAR. But listen, the racial abuse Udogie faced, right, was absolutely diabolical, right? It was an
disgusting.
Listen,
disgusting.
No discrimination is acceptable, right? But the way they target Udogie because of his skin color, and they decided to pick on him as if he did anything wrong in the match. And I'm not going to put the comments up again because it's that bad. But I think there comes a point where social media needs to hand over whatever privacy rules it hides behind, any data protection laws that protect it. I think they've got a duty not to wait for the police to contact them, but to hand it over to the police off their own good ethics and to shut all these accounts down. They've got the technology, find out the IP address and ban them from ever opening up accounts from those servers or those Wi-Fi hubs, whatever. I'm not a technical guy, right? JP, you're more technical than me. You work in IT, but something's got to be done, man. The hate on Udogie was disgusting. Like, unforgivable.
Well, he was involved. That's why.
Udogie's obviously just the recent one, and he's obviously our player. But it happens to a hell of a lot of players online, and some people idiotically they just think because they're behind the screen, nobody knows who they are, and it's happy for them to say anything, literally anything, that they wouldn't say to someone face to face in the street.
Yeah.
By the way, this hasn't happened just with Liverpool fans and Udogie. This has happened to quite a few players. By
the way, most Liverpool fans are decent, right? Most Liverpool fans, it's a minority, isn't it? It's always a little pocket to get a loud voice.
Last week, I mentioned even Napoli, their social media. Like,
I don't know what they were thinking on that one.
Yeah, like
I don't know what the thought process was there.
Yeah,
I think they think that it's made in tongue in cheek and humor, but you see that was a different. It's still. This was just next level. Udogie, if you guys, we're not going to put it up, but if whoever wants to see, you've only got to go on the latest photo of Udogie in his Instagram account and just look at the comments below that. It's just ridiculous.
But you're right, Stale.
The monkey emojis, full of a monkey emojis.
All of these social media platforms, though, you're right, need to start doing a hell of a lot more, apart from just, we've banned this person for 6 months or something like that. They need to do a hell of a lot more. If it needs to be given to the police, someone needs to take a bit more action for all these people who are happy to sit inside, sit on their toilet and be horrible to someone online. And it's not only about color, it's about everything else as well. It's easy.
Yeah, religion, gender, ethnic background, country of origin. But this was like, I just felt this was just because of, I just find it disgusting how VAR controversy or a referee giving a red,
nothing to do with a player.
People think they've got a right.
They've accused him.
They're pissed off. They're pissed off
with Udogie because they accused him of diving,
and that makes it all right.
Can't come about that because of his diving.
That doesn't make it all right, though, does it?
No. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that's what he's getting targeted for.
If it was a white, if it happened to be a white player, would they be going out and calling him white names?
Yeah, listen, I don't know what to say, JP. You saw, I spoke about it on Twitter.
See you next Tuesday, scumbag. They'll probably call him a rat.
I find 2023. Do you know what? Did you see the Sheffield? Did you see the Sheffield Wednesday one with the picture of the Sunderland boy that passed away?
Yeah.
You know, the picture of the kids. They showed,
stupid.
What was it? Was it Bradley from the Sunderland supporter that was with Jermaine Defoe that passed away? The Sheffield Wednesday, two guys. One of them has been sacked by his job because of that. The guy that was holding up the phone, he's already been fired from his job, and he's facing now possibly prison sentence because of that. He's showing the phone of the kid to wind the Sheffield United. The Sunderland fans. What the fuck is going on? And now he's trying to get out of the accountability of doing that because he was high on cocaine. I'm like, that's fucking. I don't give a shit. Take accountability, man.
He must have taken the photo on his phone, taken a screenshot or whatever, knowing that he was going to do that, right?
Apparently, he was high on cocaine, which is why he made a stupid judgment of error. I'm thinking, take accountability. If you're going to do that shit, be accountable for it. Don't use the fact that he was under the influence of drugs, alcohol, whatever else. Take accountability for what you do. You did something to wind the opposition up, and you used the death of a kid that was very much part of that, Sunderland, and you use that to. This is the same thing. It's the racism doing this stuff. It's not on. It's not on to do it, man. I don't understand how in 2023 we can still be.
I know, and I find it incredible that the companies, the social media companies and governments and stuff, we all went through COVID, and if anyone said anything opposing the view of the current narrative at the time, they'll get instantly shut down. You have this heinous hate crime, let's call it, happening to Adoji, and it's almost glossed over. They're so quick to act on other this cancel culture and political issues and stuff like that, yet things like this continue to happen. I find it incredible.
It makes me, Maz. Listen. I'm going to say it is. It makes me think that they're all right with it. Because they want that. They want that toxic. They want that.
They are all right with it.
They
are, like I said to you, Iggy, if they had any morals, right. They would shut the accounts down and hand it all over now.
Yeah.
They'd call the police and report it themselves.
I don't think they mind the toxicity. I don't think they mind the racism. I don't think they mind the targeting, the abuse. I don't think they give a shit about any of that. Actually, they want that. They encourage that.
Do you know?
And people feel it's okay to do it because there's no accountability for those actions. So I can go online, be racist, and nothing's going to happen to me on the back of it if I don't show a face behind what I write.
If we talked about gender on this show, we'll probably get booted off YouTube.
Yeah, of course.
That's the ridiculousn's thing of the whole thing.
During the Donald Trump campaign,
no one gives a shit about racism. Let's be honest. No one gives a fuck about it.
During the Trump campaign, the Republicans, apparently they found evidence to show that Twitter was deliberately pushing all the Trump posts and all the anger and hate off the back of it. They were pushing it out to more people deliberately because it built the most traction for the most people to jump onto Twitter. So they deliberately promoted that shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do it with this stuff, man. Because they've been proven to do it in the past with stuff that just blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sickening, and I think the companies need to take accountability for it.
I just want to say as well, right? This isn't all Liverpool fans. I don't want Liverpool fans to be tarnished with this because it is a minority. I've got a lot of Liverpool friends.
This happens. They're fuming. Has happened to a lot of players, not just Adoji, and it's not just been Liverpool fans. A small section of it. This has happened with England in Euro 2020. It's happened to Troy Deeney. It's happened to many other players. Of many different clubs. As soon as they become target for someone, then this behavior, and the problem is nothing gets done about it. We say kick out racism, we wear the kick out shirts, we wear all these slogans and stuff like that.
Going in knee before the game.
Fundamentally, it's all, for me, it's all tick boxes. It's all tick boxes. At the heart of it, no one cares enough to prioritize that on the same level that we prioritize all the things that like Maz just said about the whole gender thing. We don't see racism on the same level as all the other stuff. It's as simple as that. Otherwise,
by the way,
I can't explain it.
Can I just clarify in the comments when
a VAR decision is getting more traction?
Exactly, it's more important. That's the mindset of the audience. By the way, just to clarify, when Iggy said "Who cares about racism," he wasn't saying we don't care. He's saying who out there actually cares to do something.
No,
that's what he's trying.
That's what. Yeah. Sorry. Maybe I should clarify that because it may have come up. You understood. Obviously, a few people have. When I say who gives a shit about racism, I'm not saying I don't. I care about it. I'm saying why isn't more being done about it? Is it because there's not? Who cares about racism? That's what I mean. Who cares about it enough to have something done about it? Social media don't. People that do it still do it, and you know, but they hide behind the keyboard. And they feel it's okay. It's okay to go online and abuse people for you know in the most derogatory way possible. That's what I mean. Who gives a shit about it? Like I don't understand. I don't see the same passion to clamp that down. In the same passion, I see perhaps the Liverpool moaning about the decision that they just had against. I don't see that same passion, that same fire. Have you heard anyone on Sky Sports today about that incident? In the same sort of passion, they've been riding out this referee and VAR decision. That's all I'm asking, guys. I don't see the same fire. That's my question. That's That's when. So when I say who gives a shit about racism, that's what I mean by it. I don't see the same fire, man. That's all, guys.
Do you know this Gooner on socials tried to use this as a weapon against us, saying, "Oh yeah, but you lot do this and you lot do that." And I said to him, "That's interesting, because when Saka missed a penalty in the Euro finals and he faced racial abuse, it was the Spurs fans at White Hart Lane when Saka came on the pitch in a pre-season friendly that stood up and applauded him. That was us.
That was us, mate. I was at the ground.
By all means, I was there too. But by all means, make this a Arsenal Spurs to get your brownie points.
I was there when Saka came on. That was he himself. Go back. You go and look at it. He was so surprised by the warm welcome that he got when he came on as a sub. And that was the same for Sancho. He got the same grief. Rashford got it as well. Basically, all the players that missed a penalty in the final. So I can't understand it how in 2023 this could still be happening. I don't get it, guys.
Because the social media companies they're not doing anything about it. They're not doing enough.
So when I say who gives a shit about racism, this is what I mean. Who cares about it because I don't see enough being done about it, and it continues to happen. And this, unfortunately, it won't be the last time we speak about it.
No. Definitely won't be the last time.
Moving on, I don't know if you saw this today, but I found this quite interesting. No, wrong one. Sorry. Romano reported Monaco have announced the departure of sporting director Paul Mitchell. Heard his name before? The new CEO will be Thiago Scuro, reporting to President Dimitri, whoever that name is. Thiago Scuro will oversee all the club's activities. So, Paul Mitchell is a free agent. Coincidence? Or is the great man coming back to Spurs?
Levy. Yeah, he ain't going to come back while Levy's there, I don't think.
I don't know. Maybe Levy's changed. Maybe Big Ange has convinced him, no?
Shut up. The other day you were praising Levy. Now you're saying Levy's changed. What's going on, man?
Listen, it'd be great. It'd be great. It'd be great still. It'd be great to have him back. But I don't know. I don't know if his relationship with Levy is completely if it can be picked up. I think it'd be a great project for him with Ange Postecoglou. I think it's the right time to get him back. But is his relationship with Levy fragmented? Is it still?
I thought we still had Paratici.
Apparently they're working.
Paratici's on limited duties. He's on limited duties.
Apparently they're working his way to leave the club. So,
Yeah, he
That's what
can't.
I've
He
been
can't
told.
stay at the club. I think it's just like one of them. You know, when you're like you can't afford to get the divorce, so you're separated at home. That's what's happening there. They're
When your
separated at home.
reputation is tarnished, even if you're found to be
Exactly.
innocent,
Exactly.
you can't associate.
Danny, you want to know what meds I'm on? You're the one living in Amsterdam, mate. What are you on?
Hasn't he just? Hasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
I'm not the one.
Fire.
Levy lover.
Shut up, Steph. Yeah, like honestly, but do you not think that maybe Paul Mitchell, Scott Munn's just come in, he's got rid of a few backroom scouts and staff. Paul Mitchell's now in the market. You don't think? Do you guys just think it's just all coincidence? Yeah, whatever.
I think
it.
I think they
love
would
it.
try. I think they would try.
love it.
They would be stupid not to try or at least talk to him. But personally, I think he's been. I think he's been burnt.
Danny, what have you heard on Twitter Spaces? What have you heard on Twitter Spaces?
Still, we have a Facebook comment there if you want to read it.
Still talks a lot. Said big up gigs, top man. I knew from the first day you commented, I always knew you were a good fan.
Is it not the case where they even want to come back anyway?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Maz. I don't think he wants to come back.
Yeah, but what? Imagine though. Let me tell you something. So the reason,
but if he understands, what's happening, like your explanations the other day about what's happening in the academy, if he understands that it's the way where we are now, we've got the manager in place who likes to play that style of football. The biggest thing is if he can get assurances that Mr. Midler is not going to meddle, it's possible.
So Simon Davies, our academy director, he came because Paratici picked up the phone to him. It's Paratici who sold it to him, right? And like I've said, he's a really good academy director. We've got a good one, yeah. What if Paratici picked up the phone to Paul Mitchell and said, "Listen, yeah,
do you want my job? Do you want my job?"
Things were stupid back then. They were a joke, but it's changed now. The academy's changed. The philosophy of the team's changed. We've got a plan. Come back, be the head scout.
Hasn't Paratici been let go anyway? We don't use his services anymore.
He's a consultant, Maz.
No, I think I hear. Was it We Are Tottenham TV said that?
Well, I thought he'd been pushed off the button, but apparently he's still there.
Listen, I think the project would be brilliant for Paul Mitchell. I just don't know how him and Levy are today. Obviously, I don't know what kind of relationship they have to this day when parted ways long time ago.
Tell you what, Iggy, let's go around the table, right? The scenario is you're Paul Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
You've been given assurances that you will have a scouting job. Obviously,
carte blanche.
Sorry, brain's going. But anyway, Levy's going to stay out of it.
Levy's going to stay out of it. Yeah.
Levy's going to stay out of it. So it's all down to your personal feelings. Yeah. What do you do? Stell.
I'll take me.
Start Stell because he's the top left.
Okay. I would say to Levy, look, you've got to start playing Skipp. It's a waste of talent. Don't listen to these. Don't listen to it.
Sign him.
God, please, no!
Sign him.
No!
All right. It depends how badly it finished between him and Levy. If it was a mutual agreement for them to part ways, then they can mutually agree a new agreement. Yeah. If Paul Mitchell became sickened with the place and sickened with Levy as a human being, then no. So I think it's how it ended. Because the one thing I remember one of the quotes was when he left was that he did say this was my dream job, didn't he? He said Tottenham was his dream job. So if he still got that emotion, then maybe yeah.
Iggy?
Yeah, look, for me, if those, that scenario, like you said, is why not? I don't see it. I think Levy ruined it for him because I think he actually was quite invested in the project. So, and what Ange's got going on at the moment is similar to when Poch was here. I'm not saying the similarities are there. I'm not saying it's exactly the same as Poch. Time will tell. But the similarities are there. So he would definitely be interested in the idea of it, providing that he doesn't come across the same situations which caused him to leave the first time around.
I'm guessing everyone's going to be the same.
I think he says, look, put it in writing in my contract that I've got X, Y, and Z to do, and I'll come. But personally, I think kind of like that bridge has been burnt, and
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You can't, it's times when we all say afterwards you don't go back, and especially if you've been burnt in a certain way.
Yeah, I can't see Mitchell going back and just get back on a working relationship with Levy. I just think, a couple of things that have been said, I don't really think it will be able to work out. I mean, it would have to be on Levy's end. His ego would have to lessen big time to have Paul Mitchell back.
Murray, did you say Levy's ego would have to lessen?
Yeah. His ego will have to lessen, and that's impossible.
Forget about it.
Ain't happening, bro.
Yeah.
What the hell is even that?
And that's not happening. And
Who's doing that, man? Is that you, still?
Is it me? I got rinsed from that machine when I was talking about Skipp. Is it me?
We don't know who it is, Iggy. Oh.
It's Lee. Give it away. What about you, Lee, then? What's your thinking? Maz as well.
But do you know what? Just before I say that, just Scott M. We know we love you, mate. You're the most positive person in the land. But your comment: hard to imagine Mitchell would want to be stuck with a manager like Ange.
That is mental. He's lost his mind.
I think he's been flippant.
I don't know. With some of the comments, you never can tell with him.
For a month. Scott's been like
I think he's been flippant.
He's broken, mate. That's it. Scott's been broken.
He's in Ajax with Danny. He's in Amsterdam.
I think he is. Yeah. Danny's hiding the thing in his bun again, isn't he? Sniffing his hair.
I'm not sure how many. What Scott actually likes other than pots. I don't think he likes anything else.
I mean, personally, I think I would, if I got the assurances that the choice of players is going to be between him and Ange, and they're not taking. Don't get me wrong. Levy's got every right to say, "Look,
hope not."
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I can see that happening.
Nah, they've already spent their money, man. There's no point scouting even more.
I think if the team partnership between Ange and Paul Mitchell is solid, and they don't take the mickey. I mean, Levy's got every right to say, don't go and scout 120 million pound players when we don't need to spend that amount of money and all that kind of thing. And I get that, but for the kind of players that we are signing at the moment, we're targeting people with the technique and skill that we need in a particular position, which is what Ange seems to do. And Levy's stays out of it. Yeah, I think I'd have a go at it. I mean, what could possibly go wrong for me? I'll leave again because Levy's a twat.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Hold on, I haven't got a soundboard for this one. I'm looking.
What could possibly go wrong at Spurs?
We need another 2 floors on the hotel. Sorry, football team.
Yeah,
I think that he would look at it if it is his dream job, and let's say that's an absolute true statement. It is one of the biggest jobs in football, right? And we're on the up, and maybe if he came in and it continued going on the up, his stock would rise even more than it has in the past. So it's probably a good risk reward for him to join Spurs. I don't know if I want him to come back, if I'm honest with you. I almost like with Ange, like what Ange said, sometimes to have a new start, you've got to clear out the dead wood and leave the past behind and bring everything fresh and new in. So part of me thinks, do we really want him to come back?
I wouldn't call him Deadwood though.
No, I'm not saying
he was
he's
doing a great
Deadwood,
job.
just...
I think it. Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying, but
yeah, what I mean is, Ange said for change to happen, you have to refresh the team. You can't, implement change without refreshing the team. He said that in his recent interview.
Kind of like what Pot said, right? New furniture.
Yeah, exactly. So I think bringing Mitchell coming back almost feels like we haven't moved on, and I think Tottenham do need to move on and just back Ange all the way, with new personnel and everything.
So you want a complete fresh? Let's just forget the past.
Do you know what? I'm going to argue that statement, Maz, on the basis that if Paul Mitchell had stuck around because Levy hadn't stuck his nose in, would it ended up with Pochettino being the same as it would have, or would we have maybe found those kind of players and actually done something different?
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
I'm sure we'll find out sooner rather than later, because it's supposed to be very soon that we're getting this football director in, and that's what Scott Munn's working on right now, and has been since day one. So, these things go quite quick, but we'll see.
All right, one last thing, then we're going to wrap it up, guys. The league table. Just have a quick look at it. Guys, we've had over 300 people watching tonight. Please hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. But the thumbs up is the one we really appreciate the most. Thank you for watching, as always. So there you have it. Man City, top of the table with that loss out of nowhere to Wolves. Tottenham, second.
I don't know if is F1 Wolves in the chat. Big up to Wolves, man.
Yeah, there he is. F1 Wolves. Levy is impotence, but sadly most important person for Spurs. Good knows what Andy needs himself. He's a liability. He's there. Big up to Wolves. So Tottenham and Arsenal both on 17 points. Liverpool on 16. Villa, Brighton both on 15 points. So from first all the way down to 6 is only 3 points. The teams are all performing pretty much the same. Win 4, draw 1 or lost 1. Spurs and Arsenal, who would have thought it? The two North London clubs, the only undefeated teams in the Premier League. We're not even a quarter of a way yet. I think 9 games is a quarter, isn't it? I think about 9.5 games. But if we beat Luton and Arsenal either beat City or City and Arsenal draw, we go top of the league into the international break. Jose Mourinho vibes. We're going to win the league at Christmas, right? Let's
face it. This is a much better position than we would have wanted to be. We may not have thought we would have been in this position. However, the fact that we have to embrace it. 7 games or not.
I mean, I would have never. I said this plenty of times. I would have never thought that we'll be standing in second place right now after losing Harry Kane, after having a disastrous preseason, and just not having enough on the bench and quality. And so we've kind of overachieved. We're kind of really going a little bit ahead of schedule, and it's a good thing. It's really, really a good thing. Now it's just really goes back to, I hate to say it, don't like to mention his name, but it goes back to Levy and the board. Because now what do we do with this, right? In January, will we try to capitalize in regards to top 4, top 5? Do we add to it? Clearly, you can see we don't have the depth on our team. Will we, if let's just say, because the schedule actually works out for us, right? We have 3 supposedly gimme games, and then Man City, Villa, the Man City. What if we're lurking around, right, 2nd and 3rd by December? Will this board have any incentive to want to back, and even though it's a year or a couple transfer windows early? We don't know. But
and that's the true test, right, Mari? That is the true test. And again, I would say, me thinking, he would be stupid not to. Based on what he's seen so far, based on what he's seen in this short space of time, surely surely, as this businessman, this clever businessman that everyone claims that he is, he must see that if you invest now, the returns will come. Build it, and they will come.
I think January's
what he does with apartments block, right? Build another 2 floors, they will come.
Yeah, I think January's a bit of a poison chalice, though, sometimes, isn't it? Because if you do need something, you basically get held to ransom because of the fact it's mid-season. So, I don't necessarily think that Ange will buy into that and say we've got to buy players for the sake of buying players and at inflated prices. We can do something with what we've got. We're not just going to be spending loads and loads of money because of the fact that we need these players. So I think that's where he needs to find the gems that not necessarily are going to bring the biggest price tags, right? That's what he brings to the table. Let's hope that works out. I mean, I personally, I know a lot of people are shouting for like Eze and stuff like that, right? I don't believe for a minute that we are going to be buying Eze in January. Not for the price that they will ask for him. It's just not worth the investment. Not a chance.
What's his name at Brentford? Like the forward at Brentford, like his name slips me now. Ivan Toney, right? Oh, let's go and get Tony in January. They're going to want over 100 million for him or something.
I think he's going to Arsenal or Chelsea.
We are not going to pay.
That's a game changer if he goes there.
Those types of fees. We're just not going to pay it, right? But we definitely need people because our squad is literally paper thin.
Any player that's on form is going to have a tax put on top of them. Like Neto, people have been talking about Neto from Wolves, right? You're not going to get him on cheap in January because if he's on form, they'll say, you want him, pay the money.
Is that a good investment to gain Champions League money?
But the Champions League money is it depends, right? It's not all the Champions League money is only good money in terms of return on the price that you pay for someone if you get to the latter stages, right at the latter stages. If you get in the group stages, then you're not covering that investment. If you're thinking about playing 50, 60, 70 million.
If you come out
surely we want to finish as high as possible.
Yeah.
You get money for that as well, yeah.
So then you get an extra, I don't know, whatever it is, 10 million, 5 million quid, kind of like more for that, right?
So I'm sure Levy can work that out. He's got it written in his phone book.
We still got the Harry Kane money. The Harry Kane money. Listen, I want to quickly go around and ask you one question, mate. Let me go around and quickly ask one question, and we're going to wrap it up, okay? Iggy, who's manager of the month for September?
It's got to be Ange, surely.
You go with Ange, yeah?
Who else can? Who else is in contention?
I don't know. I'm asking you the question. Like, who do you think? Who would
you?
No,
I'm saying for me it's Ange, but because I can't see anyone else who's done better than him this month. But I'm interested also in the Man City Arsenal game. I want to see how that goes down because Man City have got to respond after that defeat against Wolves, and I think Arsenal.
Well, we're going to cover that on Friday night on our Premier League preview show, which is at 10 p.m. every Friday.
So okay,
everyone.
JP, who's your manager of the month for September?
Postecoglou, man.
Postecoglou.
And I'll even go for the double with Son as a player.
Wow.
He's got goals, man.
Okay. I reckon
he's got goals. I'm telling you.
6 goals.
I reckon Madders is in there.
What about you?
Sonny's got 6 goals, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. Murray?
Probably second, Emery, but first, Ange, who's had a better month again than him. Got to give it to Ange.
Ange, what about you, Lee?
I think if you look at the managers and the form of the teams, it's got to be him in contention again. I'm just wondering though if he wins it 2 months on the trot, will Scott then start to believe a little bit? Just a little bit, Scotty. Just a little bit.
Keep it real. Keep it real.
Corruption and fixed, and
that's not happening.
Keep it real to the end, Scott.
What about you, Maz?
I think you've got to give it to him. To be honest with you, I don't think anyone expected.
Actually, correction. Pep just lost. So they win that big game.
I think United. Emma's a good shout though as well.
Yeah, but we're undefeated, and we've we played 3 of the biggest teams supposedly, and we've done well.
We've got lucky.
I think Unai Emery's going to get it. They haven't.
That's what I'm saying. If it's not
as a big result, and
I think that whooping of Brighton was just nuts.
As a big result. That's a big result. That was.
I think the Liverpool controversy will tarnish Ange getting it again. I think that'll tarnish it.
Yeah,
which is stupid because that's not his fault again, isn't it? How's that his fault?
True.
It's not, but they'll just use it. They'll just because just imagine if they give it to Ange, right? If the Premier League gives it to Ange, the backlash from Liverpool fans on the Premier League, and it's just I can just see them.
Listen, Spurs in the next few games, we're gonna see the effects of this weekend just gone. We're gonna start getting some decisions against us. Mark my words.
Yeah, but Luton and I guess the lesser teams.
I would go with Edward's comment. Give it to Klopp. For the tears. With 9 men.
For the tears.
I think Klopp and Player of the Month for Jota. That'd be awesome. Listen, everyone watching the show tonight, God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in. As always, big up to Della Spurs and Matt Coppin for the super chats. Thank you so much. Thank you to the panel, Iggy, JP, Mari, Lee, and Maz, and Will being on the show tonight. Mari, are you on Wednesday or you're not on Wednesday?
Yep, I'm on Wednesday as of now. But Thursday we'll still go on with a special host. And yeah.
Okay, so Wednesday you got Spurs Lounge with Mari. Thursday, North London is ours. I think I'm covering for Mari whilst he's in Mexico with TJ Warren. Friday, we got the Premier League show, 10 p.m. And then Saturday is the live watch along. So make sure you tune in. Will does his after match show. Then we'll be back next Monday. Maybe we'll be top of the league. Maybe we'll be back to Spursy. We don't know. But other than that, unless anyone else has anything else to say, I'm happy to have another half an hour chat about Oliver Skipp, but I'm sure you guys don't.
No.
Let's skip that.
I've got one comment to make.
Let's skip that, did you say?
No. Yeah, I see what you did there. I've got one comment to make, and this might be another. I don't know if they're talking about it because I wasn't listening vocally to the match, the commentary. But if anyone watches the highlights from the Fulham Chelsea game, have a look at the foul on Vinicius on Thiago Silva. I think he got. I don't think he got anything, but you watch it in slow motion, and VAR took a look at this, and he actually does that on the back of Silva's shoulder here. You can physically see him strike him, an intentional strike with his arm on his back, and I don't think VAR gave him anything. Yeah, that was probably.
Do you know who the fourth official was?
Non-intent. Huh? Official was.
You steal the fourth official? The fourth official. The same referee that left the Liverpool Spurs game.
No, I think they took him off. I think they replaced him. Apparently they said earlier that
he was there tonight, so I'm gonna
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's the VAR. But no, he was there. He was there tonight. The same ref that was the fourth official for the Fulham Fulham game.
Yeah, for me, you watch the replay, it was an intentional strike, intentional whack on his back, yet nothing, which doesn't make it. It just shows you the level of inconsistency.
Which player was it? Was it against? Was it against the Fulham or
Vinicius.
A Chelsea player?
It's Vinicius on Thiago Silva.
So it was against the Chelsea player.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it looks like
I guess because Chelsea were winning 2-0. It's not.
Maybe. You know what I've never understood? I've never understood one thing, right? And I won't go on too long, but I'm just going to say this. If players can move around and play football anywhere in the world, why can't referees? Why can't English referee manage in Serie A?
Well, they were.
Refereeing for Serie A. Serie A referees in Germany, German referees in England. Why can't they do that? Why can't they move?
Well, they were using it as an excuse, Iggy, weren't they? Earlier on today or yesterday, they said that apparently a couple of the referees, the fourth official, etc., were out in the Middle East refereeing a game.
Yeah,
48 hours beforehand. So
have you heard
they
Liverpool
do
fans
that
saying that there's conspiracy because in the Middle East, the Man City owners from the Middle East, therefore they've fixed it. And I'm like, how deep do you want to make this? Like, it's not that deep. Like, come on. How bait is that as well?
Man City lost, so therefore Liverpool had to lose as well.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, listen, guys, we're going to leave. Thank you to everyone for watching tonight.
Just two things really quickly. Two funny things that I noticed at the Spurs game. Alisson, how hard did he punch that ball?
Went to the crowd.
It went flying, mate. Did you see how hard that punch was?
I hope someone kept that football as well.
That was
if that had landed him, that would have gone straight in the bag, mate.
And
straight in the bag.
Have you seen Van der Veen after we scored that last goal, or after they scored
collapsed
an own
on the
goal?
floor, just like
he just went bang straight on the floor and just turned over. That was like hilarious. Two funny bits. Good night.
Actually, can I ask one quick question before we go? It's just yes or no. No debate. Just yes or no. Okay.
No, Skipp.
Is Van der Ven better than Romero? Iggy, yes or no?
Is Van der Ven better than who?
Romero, yes or no?
No.
JP?
No.
Not for me.
No.
Mari?
No.
Lee?
What
was that?
Not yet. Not yet.
You know what? It's too early. It's too early to tell. It's too early to tell. I'd say he's less rash.
Yes or no?
Romero, but
it's a yes or no.
Romero's got a bit more.
It's a yes or a no.
No.
No, man.
Not yet. I think we'd all say not yet, but
no, it's yes or no. There's
no.
Right.
There's
okay.
no.
I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes.
Yeah, of course you would.
Okay.
No, that's why I asked it because I was going to say yes. I think he's better. All right, we're done.
Not yet.
No, it's yes or no. No,
I know, but I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you, not yet. But we'll have that next.
No.
All right.
We'll have that on Wednesday.
People, thanks for watching. # Team Skipp. Let's go.
Much love to everyone watching.
I don't know what that was. What the hell is this? What is this?
That's your Skippy. That's your Skippy pull, isn't it?
Is
Skippy.
Jump on the Skippy train. Choo choo.
Skippy.
Peace. We're out of here.
Laters. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
And we're live.